You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Pop Culture. Put my teeth in, start again. Fell over my old tongue then.
Just carry on, don't worry about it.
No. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Pop Culture Gamers. This is show number 119. It's the 23rd of May, 2021, and I'm here with Steve and Mark. Hi, guys, how are you doing?
Hi, Haydn, how are you?
Yeah,
good, thanks.
Good.
So, Mark, do you want to go first this time and tell us what's been happening? Because you've had some quite exciting delivery.
I have. So I'll start by saying I got back to work fully this week. We opened up on Monday, obviously. So I've had a normal working week, which has been the first time this year, bizarrely.
And how did that feel? Did it feel good?
Yeah, we had the prep day sort of a week ago on the Saturday, and so everybody was there then. And then to actually get back into a kind of a normal shift, setting up in the morning for a busy day on Monday, which it was, and it has been a pretty damn busy week. And yeah, it was great, really. Yesterday we had a new sort of chef in the kitchen, and she's only young and hadn't really done a proper setup on her own before, but she did great in the end. My boss was there as well to kind of help her along, and it was quite stressful at times because we were really busy, mentally busy yesterday, but yeah, just getting back into that kind of week rotation of how you're feeling and stuff is good. It's good to be back.
So by Wednesday, were you then complaining and saying you wanted to go back into lockdown?
Well, no, because I do all my hours in 4 days.
Right, okay.
So I work on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah.
So by Wednesday, I'm off. Wednesday, Thursday really is my weekend.
Yeah. And
I'm off Sundays as well, but the 2 days in a row is Wednesdays and Thursdays. So it was nice to actually get back into that kind of weekly routine. Really good. Excuse me.
I think your sect's really had it tough, haven't you? Really.
Well, we have. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I'm a chef, and I'm one of the managers we have at work. But I wouldn't have wanted to be in my boss's shoes, the owner. It's not been a good 12, 14 months to own a restaurant at all. We're independent.
It's that industry altogether, though, isn't it? I mean, it's
that
and all the different types of.
We're a one-off independent place. We make everything from scratch, so it's hard work. We have 2 different menus. One in the daytime is completely different to nighttime, where we do kind of authentic Spanish and North African tapas. Again, we make everything ourselves, and not many places have that kind of 2 different menus. It's all very well being a scratch kitchen and making it yourselves, but you've almost got to do 2 different types of prep.
Oops, sorry.
But it works really well. We're quite busy, so I guess that's a good thing. Must be doing something right. But I got back into my Wednesday, Thursday off, and I do my normal kind of check of Xbox Series X stock levels in all the sort of usual places online, actual stores, click and collects everywhere. And on Thursday morning, I found that Curry's PC World had some stock. And I thought I was seeing things. I just thought I was imagining it or something. And I just went add to basket. So
So
I added.
when you were sat in the coffee shop and you realised that, you turned to the person next to you and said, "Will you pinch me?" Did they give you a funny look?
I was drinking coffee at the time, but I was in my own house, so it
You
wasn't
spit
so
it out. So, you know,
with the wife, and I just stayed very quiet. I was sat at our kind of island in the kitchen where we have breakfast, and I was very quiet and just went through it almost in disbelief. You know, put your card details in, arranged. I paid extra to have it delivered next day. Only a $5 extra, but so I went through the process and put my card in, all the details, everything, and it said, "Thank you, your order is confirmed." To which I just threw up my hands and shouted, "Hurrah!" You know, or words to that effect. And my wife just went, "What the hell's just happened? what have you done?"
It's
and I went,
Christmas.
I've got one. And sure enough, I messaged you guys, didn't I? And I thought, I said, "I've got one." And then about 5 or 10 minutes later, I messaged back saying, "Little worried that I've had no confirmation email yet," you know, just because I was starting to get a bit paranoid. But sure enough, it all got delivered in Friday morning. They gave me a slot of 9:20 to 10:20, and the guy had to sit outside. You know how stupid the system is? He had to sit outside for an extra 30 seconds because he was there just before 9:20, and he would have been before my slot, which they're not allowed to do. So yeah, delivered whilst I was at work on Friday morning, and I've had a little bit of time, not a lot, but I've had some time with it over Saturday night and today.
It just goes to prove the gift that I sent you was exactly the right one. Patience, you must have patience.
Yeah, it was. I still, even when I knew it was going to be delivered, I thought, nah, this is not. It's not happening, is it really? But I think maybe stock is starting to come back, I would say.
Well, for Xbox anyway.
Yeah, for Xbox.
We know that PlayStation's going to be 2022.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But so after that, I was working Friday, went to work, came back and started to set it up Friday night. So opened the box, all very nice and everything, took it out the box, was really impressed with I think it's a form that looks far better in person than it does on screen, or when it's really nice. I like that kind of, I know Haydn used to call it a shoebox, but I quite like the form of it.
The mini fridge, yeah.
To be fair, it is about the size of a shoebox.
It is.
As well.
But for me, I mean, your guys are probably different, but for me, it actually sits behind my TV anyway, so I don't even see it.
Yeah.
I can't even see it. I can see a slight shadow of it on the side of my TV, but that's it. But yeah, really just spent. I mean, the curse of having virtually all of your library digital is I had to spend Friday night downloading everything. So I just left it running overnight, went to work again on Saturday, yesterday, and then actually started to look into it and delve into it on Saturday night.
Did you prioritise any downloads?
Of course. I put because I knew I wouldn't have a lot of time to get to it this weekend. So I, all the usual suspects, PGA, MLB, Breakpoint. I don't actually think I've put Skyrim on there yet, which is a bit of a shocker. But yeah.
Just as a thought, have you got any of your games on your old One S on a hard drive, external one?
Yeah, I switched that over.
Because you could just plug them in.
I did that. Yeah, so I didn't have to re-download anything that was on that. But in hindsight, I guess it would have made more sense. There was only about 6 games on there, and quite small. Like, was it Steel Rats, the indie game you were talking about a few weeks back? Yeah. That was on there. There was the Master Chief Collection was on there. I can't remember the others, but they were available straight away.
Well, that Master Chief Collection's 100 gig in it, so that's on there. Good one to copy across.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. In hindsight, I think I perhaps should have maybe copied over the games to the external hard drive from my 1S and then back on, and then switched over the hard drive when I put the Series X in. But the only thing I've got to sort out always on my kind of radar now is to perhaps we have two TVs in the bedroom. We've got the main TV where it's set up, and then we have my kind of small side TV which I play games on as well, which is closer as well. So the fact that it's a bit smaller doesn't make a lot of difference. But what I'm going to have to do, I think, is upgrade one of those to 4K.
Without a doubt.
That's where I need to go next, I think. Because the main TV in the living room is 4K, and that's a really lovely Sony TV. But these two in here are not. I think I'm going to have to do something about that.
Well, that's what we're doing because it's my son's birthday first half of next month. So he's already got a Series X, but he's got a 1080p TV. So it's sort of like, let's get him upgraded to a 4K. And he wants a 4K. And we've started doing movie nights, and he's getting into his movies now. So
why not?
Yeah.
But the other thing as well as a kind of 4K TV, I'm actually thinking of getting a CRT TV as well to get some
bit retro.
Yeah, but it would have to go in the Mrs. Studio upstairs, but she doesn't know about that yet. So I'm not sure whether
unless you're using a light gun, you can get good adapters from SCART, or with the SCART socket you can
the RGB leads and things like that.
That changes it into HDMI.
But does it fill in the missing lines? Do they?
You don't see missing lines.
You do if you just plug it straight in, don't you?
No, it still scales it all correctly.
Right.
Because I've got one of those leads because that's what I use to connect my Laserdisc player to HDMI.
But I thought the reason, I have plugged in my Super Nintendo to tried a couple of the TVs down here, and it looked awful.
No, this is an adapter.
Yeah.
To HDMI from SCART. Right. It's a specific product.
Okay, I'll have to look into that on Amazon as he fishes into his drawer.
Yeah, I think I've got it in my drawer next to me somewhere.
Every man drawer should have a SCART lead of some kind kicking around at them.
I'm sure they have.
Mind you, I did do a clear up one year and took a look at that and threw it all away because it's just, where am I ever going to use it again?
Never say never.
It was quite funny during lockdown. The last lockdown, I plugged the Super Nintendo into the 55-inch 4K Sony TV in the living room, and it just looked awful. Really. It was great to play the games, but it wasn't up to it. I need to sort something.
I'll find the details and I'll send it to you. But it's a very simple device. And it literally it's just a SCART socket at one end with a box and a lead going into HDMI at the other, but it upscales it. It scales it better.
Yeah, that's what I need. I think that would work. But other than work and not much more than unpacking a Series X, that's been most of my week, really. Yeah, busy work, which is good.
So, Steve, what about you?
Me? Oh, not much either, to be honest. It's been a bit of a crazy, busy week as usual. I did do one thing I forgot to do from having this Xbox myself. With how we had it now, it seems like forever, but I rejoined the preview program that I was running, obviously, with all my other Xboxes. And since they did that, I got an update for the Xbox and an update for the controller. I don't know if that's coincidental or not, I don't know, but did that. And that's right. I don't mind doing that. And you do get to see some stuff that's going to be, previewed out a bit early.
I had updates for both as soon as I plugged it in. I kind of expected it, though.
Oh, you would have done, yeah.
Yeah, you always have an update when you plug in a new machine. So I expected that.
The box had been on quite a while when I was going back looking through the app on the Xbox. But excuse me, it was it was pretty quick. As soon as I'd done that and logged onto it, I could see my score that I was on and my ranking and rating for doing it. Yeah, it was pretty quick that it came down and dropped it. So that was one thing. And do you remember last week I sold my Xbox?
Yeah, you said it was a mate down here, didn't you?
Yeah, he sent me a photograph. He said, you should have went and put a film on, and there was a disc in it. The God. He said he's going to post it to me Monday, but any guesses what it was?
An Arrow movie.
Can we actually say that? Keep it still parental guidance.
It wasn't Debbie Does Dallas. Let's just put it that way, all right?
Oh, it's Debbie Does Dallas too.
No, it was Fallout 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's going to post it back to me on Monday.
You see, even subconsciously, you're trying to get rid of that game, Steve.
Yeah.
Fallout 4. Oh, come on! I've completed it twice in the last. God knows how long. You're about 76, so that's the old bugbear, obviously.
Every time's a hook on that one. Every time.
Well, because you're like an anti-Bethesda, as much as I'm not a Nintendo fan. You know
No.
what I mean?
Steve's going to turn into a potty mouth, I think.
We won't mention what that's about, will we? But
Well, I might put it in the outtakes.
yeah, parental guidance is reassured for that bit. I had my package from Waxworks turned up, which is part of the subscription service I've got. So I've got my hoodie turned up and a T-shirt, and the next vinyl in the line of ones that they released for the subscribers for free. Obviously, we paid for it. That was pretty cool. That came, and that was really weird. It was well packaged. I didn't see, it was really quick to the end. As soon as it hit the country, it went through the system really quickly through the postal service. So it was nice to receive that. And yeah, that's about it really. Not a lot much going on. Although I do have, as I did say earlier, I do have Justice League in 4K turning up tomorrow morning, hopefully at some point. There you go.
If you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, Haydn, what have you been up to? You done much?
Had a day off with the missus this week, so we went and had afternoon lunch out at Asda. So excited because we went to Teesside Retail Park. Didn't get anything, but went there. Got the fantastic thing of bought a paint sprayer. So the idea, because my Stortsey property, which I've been told by my tenants who were living there at the moment that they're definitely going to be moving out at the end of the 6 months that they signed up for, because they're doing up their own. They've bought a house and doing it up. So that means that the end of August I'll be going along and treating all of the fencing in the house. So I thought, and it's quite a big back garden. Probably about well, I have no idea how big it is, but it's you could basically make a tennis court out of it, that sort of size. So that's surrounded on all sides by fencing and right down the length of the house. So I thought, right, what I'll do is get a paint sprayer rather than taking hours and hours to do, or days to do all of that painting. Get a paint sprayer, should be all done in a day, because it could do coupling all of that sort of thing. And also on Friday we've got a Wetherspoons just opened up in Northallerton, so we went there as a team. We had a sort of team meeting to discuss some things, and we decided, well, seeing as that we haven't met up with each other for a while, why don't we go and have lunch together and we could talk about stuff. So we went there as a team to have a bit of a meet up, which was quite nice as well. So a couple of lunches out. So just could do with Ricky Shunak's thing of the eat out thing that he did last time. I wish that had been involved this time. It would have been okay. But to be fair, it didn't cost a lot at Wetherspoons at all, because they were having a offer because it was all brand new anyway. So yeah, that's about it really. Nothing very exciting for me. Nothing ever is, but I'm quite happy like that.
Was there where the Wetherspoons, the new one is? Was that just a new building, or was it already something else? Or
It was what was called the Book, which was a public house in Northallerton, and it was the type of pub that you would wipe your feet when you went out.
Yeah, I know the sort of place you mean.
Yeah, and anyway, that closed years ago, and Wetherspoons bought the place, and obviously it's taken a while for them with lockdown and all of that sort of thing to actually get anything going, but it's the first time that they've opened, which is quite amusing really, because over the road there's a very similar sort of place called the Potting Shed, which is just as big, and I was really surprised at how many people were in Wetherspoons. We had to sit outside. They have a covered over area outside, but we had to sit out there in order to have our food because the inside was absolutely chock-a-block.
Grand, eh?
Yeah, so at least people are getting out, and supporting the food industry. That's the main thing, isn't it?
We had a what we call is a gourmet takeaway at the weekend for a change, which is a little bit more expensive than the normal one. But I suppose that counts in one way, but because they haven't opened their restaurant yet, they're still doing a lot of takeaway stuff. But it's good quality food that we get, good restaurant food. So I don't mind paying a little extra for it.
Yeah, well, it's do you know what I think is nice is actually just getting out there and being human again. Granted, you still wore your mask until you sat down, and there was sort of like cordoned off areas where before it would have been open, and now there's like plastic bits there to stop people's breathing over you and stuff like that. But it was absolutely fine. It didn't feel unsafe or anything like that. Everybody was pretty respectful of distances, and it seemed to be managed really well. So yeah, it's nice to get out finally after all this time.
Yeah, hopefully I'm going to get out over the bank holiday weekend. Maybe it's obviously there's things going on with our daughter getting married, but we might see. I did try and go to the cinema this weekend, but the film I want to see isn't on yet, so I didn't get that. But,
your daughter's wedding is quite soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beginning of June.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to get out and go for a meal somewhere, have a drink.
So is that week after next, or next week?
Not next week. I think it might be the week
one
after.
Right.
Next week is bank holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't make next week, but hopefully we'll reschedule our recording, so it might be a day later, because it's my wife's birthday. So she tends to want me to be there. I don't know why. She's known me since 1994.
See, I might persuade the missus to still go to the cinema actually, because I do want to go there. I think my local cinema is in Bournemouth, which is an Odeon, and I've just been on there. I went on there today, but what they got there, they got a couple of new movies, but they're showing a lot of old stuff.
Do you know? I wish that my local cinema was, because I really wanted to go, and next Fridays normally when I go out with my or meet up with my friend John. We've been doing Zoom meetings and stuff like that, but I wanted to see how he felt, see about going to the cinema. But when he actually look at what's on at the Empire at Catterick, there is nothing on, no. Unless of course you like James Corden.
Yes, that's what I thought, but I did have a good search though, but my nearest cinema for what I want to see is going to have to be Southampton, which I might have to do. That's not too bad. I like the showcase, and we'll see where it is at. If it's in the main screen where it's got the bar upstairs and we can have food, we might do that. I'll just tell her we can go to the cinema. I want to go and see Spiral, book a Saw, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll see what's coming anyway, won't we? Because we'll have the charts as well.
Yeah.
So yay, cinema charts.
I know, it's weird.
Cinema releases. God, show's going to get longer. Anyway, with that, let's move on to gaming this week.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
All right, so gaming this week, and we've got a few bits of news. Should we share this out a little bit?
Yeah, can do.
Go on, Marc, do you want to start off then?
Okay, so Take-Two are looking to put out about 60 games in the forthcoming year across fully featured games, mobile games, and core experiences, etc. That is a lot.
Yeah, an awful lot.
Mm.
You've got to be sceptical of the quality, haven't you? Especially, mind you, mobile games.
It could be 10 a penny sort of ones.
Exactly. Going back to the kind of Wii times of shovelware.
Oh God! The thing is that you see so many of them advertised when you're on YouTube, don't you? They got some YouTuber that advertise this great game you can play. I'm thinking, oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be rubbish as well, don't you? Before you even look at it.
Well, I think the thing is, you always know when a game's going to be bad is when they get somebody important selling it, or someone famous selling it, because if the game's good, it doesn't need someone. And I'm going to say the highly controversial statement of Cyberpunk 2077, perfect example. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He's a massive star. That game didn't need Keanu Reeves.
Oh no, but it's nice to do that though, isn't it? If he wants to be involved.
Yeah.
It probably aided sales as well. You've got to think
massively,
in a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
Not to me, but
no. But there'll be a lot of Keanu fans and that thinking that they're going to get to see him a lot more in the game than they probably would have done, and all of that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, isn't it COD now that's doing Rambo and John McClane?
Yeah.
And you can go to what do you call it, towers, Nakamura. How was it? Can't remember the name of the towers. But you know the ones I mean, on Die Hard.
Oh,
Nakatomi, you mean?
Nakatomi,
Yes,
that's it.
yeah.
I could not remember the last half of the name. Nakatomi Towers, yeah. So, funny about that, because I was actually been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they had an episode where they were in those towers. Yeah, it was quite cool. Anyway, Steve, do you want to do Rockstar?
Yeah, so GTA franchises, which has sold over 345 million copies of Red Dead Redemption franchise, selling nearly 60 million copies.
GTA. Oh, yeah.
GTA. Yeah,
GTA 345 million.
Yeah. So the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 versions of GTA 5 is coming out in November. However, are we sort of finished with this now? Do we really need to go back?
I don't think people are still playing it. It's still as popular as ever. I mean, you look at
online, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the online aspect, I think, more than anything else, where people are really invested in this game.
But I think now, I mean, I did read something, but it's nothing confirmed at all, just rumours. But we're now due a new one at some point now. This can't be far away.
It makes you wonder whether. I mean, why would they?
Just keep milking that cash cow until it starts to dry up.
Well, this would be the last point. They'll bring this version out, and then, unless it's announced at E3. I mean, and then this is coming out in the meantime, and if it's announced at E3, that means it will come out in sort of March next year, possibly, or May.
But GTA 5 was released on 360 and PS3.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we went through this last week.
Yeah, we did.
So I still feel we could be hearing something about the new GTA franchise.
So Rockstar don't do E3, do they?
Yeah. Well, they would be on the actual
presentation. I don't
know.
No,
they don't. It would be on the main Xbox presentation if they do.
Yeah, perhaps.
Do you remember when the guy had the tattoo on his arm? He brought out GTA.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's due a new one by now. I know they've been working on the online side of things for Red Dead Redemption as well, but yeah. Let's see why not.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there was talk that we were supposed to be, those of us in Camp Blue were supposed to be getting GTA 5 PS5 version for free as well. Mm. So,
wow.
Yeah, supposedly, but that news dried up, and I've never heard it repeated since.
Yeah,
even though it was like they made a big thing of it at the time, and maybe it's because of the delay or whatever. But I can imagine that's just going to go straight to Game Pass anyway.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Other bit of news about God of War Ragnarok. So a suggestion from the God of War podcast, actually, which featured the Sony Santa Monica developers talking, was they really liked the way that The Last of Us 2 sort of played out where you ended up playing Ellie, who was obviously not the character you played in Last of Us Part 1, and a suggestion that you will actually be playing Atreus in part of the game for God of War Ragnarok, as, the son. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Natural progression, I guess.
Yeah, but will it take... I think God of War is a different kettle of fish to The Last of Us. And is it like a serious mistake taking you away from the central character, rather, unlike The Last of Us, where Ellie was a central character, just not one you played? What do you guys think?
Possibly.
I think I don't know, I haven't played The Last of Us.
Yeah, I haven't finished it, so I don't know how it progresses out for the new one.
But looking at it from God of War, I think it seems almost, are they setting it up for Atreus to eventually take over from Kratos? I don't know.
Maybe, but why would you really? Though
that's the franchise. Bring it, maybe bring it up for a new audience, perhaps. But it sells like gangbusters anyway, doesn't it? So,
who wants to do the next one?
I'll do Time Splitters is returning under a new studio called Free Radical, taking the name of the old studio, but there isn't really any news on how this may work yet. I used to love those games, 1 and 2. The whole kind of multiplayer with the bots worked brilliantly. And they had a sense of humour as well. Looked like Vin Diesel more than he did in the Chronicles of Riddick game, really. From what I remember.
And wasn't they playing that in Shaun of the Dead? Remember rightly?
Is that right?
I think so.
I don't remember that detail, but
when you see Nick Frost playing the video game, he's saying, I'm sure I put money on it.
Be. I think it's the right era, isn't it?
Sure, it's playing.
The right
it's time.
But was it on Xbox?
Yeah,
no, I think in Shaun of the Dead they're playing a PlayStation, aren't they?
I thought they were playing an Xbox.
It was an Xbox, yeah.
It was on Xbox, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly the second one. I'm not sure about the first one.
I have to say, I was never that struck on Time Splitters. I think I played it once.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
I just thought it had a quite kind of almost comic-like characters. They actually did have a bit of a character about them, I think, which was a bit more... I don't think it took itself so seriously in that respect, and I think that was a bit refreshing, really.
I think Time Splitters was one of those games that sort of was in my sort of like loss of love for gaming sort of era, because you're talking about, October... Well, it was released on 23rd of October 2000, wasn't it? So by then, I was dating Jane and I wasn't really playing a lot of video games and stuff like that, when you ditch everything that you like and your friends just because you want to.
It was Time Splitters 2 that was playing, just having a look online, so yeah, it was.
Which was a lot easier at the time on the Xbox than it was the PlayStation.
Yeah. So that was 2008 that was released 8th of October 2002. So yeah, I think that was just one of those franchises that passed me by, but I know a lot of people liked it.
Oh, yeah, I did. I quite enjoyed it.
I hope they keep the kind of style if they reboot it. That'd be great. Be worth a look.
I'd like to know what people sort of, what the big fuss was about, because I remember people talking about it at the time, but like I said, I wasn't really playing games that much back then.
I think it's partly because it worked, it had quite a good online multiplayer, which wasn't that common at the time. It wasn't, you had Halo, I think the earlier, or some of the Call of Duties at the time. And that was a contender if you want.
And you had the other shooter as well. The other war shooter that was out? I can't
Battlefield?
No.
Call of Duty? Medal of Honor?
Ubisoft one. I just remember I remember it with a helmet with the old lens on one eye greened out on the box.
FPS?
Yeah. It was a great bit of online with that game as well. I used to play that quite a lot.
What was it called?
Ghost Recon.
Oh, Ghost Recon, yeah.
Ghost Recon, yeah.
Yeah. I think I played that more than I did Call of Duty, to be honest, at the time. Because I think that was Because I don't think the early Call of Duty had much multiplayer anyway, did they, originally? Or maybe I'm wrong.
Not until 2, I think, was the first, wasn't it? That was on the 360. That was a launch game on the 360, I think. Call of Duty 2.
But it was advertising with the Xbox Live headset.
Right.
With Ghost Recon as well. I think that was
Yeah.
one they were pushing it with.
Considering how much I love Breakpoint and Wildlands, I hardly played the early ones.
Oh, they were great.
I did play them a little bit, but not a lot. I found them a bit slow, if I'm honest. But then I was different, I was a different kind of player then, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've all matured an awful lot over the years, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a comeback on that
in some respects. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always used to like Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I did too.
And that was a franchise that just has gone.
Well, didn't the developers of that sort of, I think some of them went on to work for Call of Duty, didn't they? I think to build Call of Duty.
I remember the first time I saw the Dunkirk landing. How blown away I was by it.
Yeah, phenomenal. Great set piece of a game. History, that is.
Yeah, I was on the one that I liked was the one that came out in 2010, which was, I think, was about the last one that they did. It was on 360.
They did the Airborne, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think the last one was just Medal of Honor.
Right.
They called it. So I used to like that one. Anyway, Steve, do you want to do the next bit?
Yeah, I don't know much about Overwatch 2, but apparently their team size changed from 6v6 to 5v5. That doesn't mean much to me. Much I know what it means, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not relevant for me either, really.
No, not for me. I know one or two people who play it.
It's an e-sport, isn't it? Isn't it?
It is considered an e-sport.
I don't know whether that's influencing it then. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not into esports particularly, but
no.
Okay.
Starfield, another bit of news coming in 2022.
And there's a caveat to that as well.
Yeah, Microsoft said that it has to work on launch.
No, it's not that. There was a video game reporter in the industry, Jeff Groove, made a claim on Twitter. He said, while responding to a user that he was asking for clarification on the game's exclusivity. And he said point blankly, yes, it's going to be Xbox and PC only. So PlayStation guys, don't buy one.
Yeah, but I'm just glad it's got a date, because that means Elder Scrolls 6 will be, might come out whilst I'm still alive.
Well, after you see, if that's due to be released early next year, they're already working on that. They're working them in tandem, I'm sure. Anyway,
they didn't say it was a time though, did they? Did they say early 2022?
I heard something about that, saying it might be early 2022, but that could. I mean, who knows? Sooner the better, really.
It's a sci-fi kind of RPG thing, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, because with Starfield coming out, will that finally kick Star Citizen up the backside to get completed? Especially seeing as that now Elite Dangerous Odyssey is also first person.
Yeah, it's branching out, isn't it? So, I mean, I think Starfield, it
something else
be,
you got that.
It'll be a good game. I'm expecting it to be quite a good game that I'll play. It'll be on Game Pass anyway, I would think.
Also, off the back of that as well, remember we've got the day before my birthday, we have the online Elder Scrolls getting the next gen upgrades as well.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the 8th of June. So I might even go back to that then once that's got to come out.
Yeah, I kind of started it, played it a little bit, but just ended up going back to Skyrim. I thought, what are all these people running about that I can't interact with?
Well, see, playing with games like Destiny, I'm used to that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I know if you don't play those sort of games a lot, it seems a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you go to the main hub area of one of the towns.
Yeah.
And there's everyone running around and jumping around like lunatics.
And you'll go into a cave and there'll be like 10 other people going in or out.
Yeah, but normally though they will then disappear into your own.
Yeah, they do, in fairness. But I will definitely give it a whirl when it comes out, I think.
Starfield, I mean. Absolutely.
Okay, who wants to do the last one?
I'll do as it was mine. So there's going to be a new handheld PC which it's called the 1X player or the ONX player, however you want to say that. And it's going to be a Windows 10 operating system, full Windows 10. You'll be able to download or access all of your Steam library, Epic, Origin. It can all be on there. And I've seen pictures of it online. The form looks almost exactly as you would expect a Switch Pro to look. And they're calling it basically the Nintendo Switch Pro equivalent. It's got the offset sticks like an Xbox wrapped around sort of tablet, basically.
This isn't the one that I put the video that Linus Tech Tips had reviewed, because with a slightly tongue-in-cheek line of Steve having his version of the Switch.
Yeah.
That wasn't a light switch.
I got this on Tech Radar. Let me have a look. I think it's fairly recent news, 2 days ago. So
yeah, I think it was only a few days ago that Linus Tech Tips reviewed it as well, because it was one of his more latest videos.
Right. It looks really smart, I've got to say. Even just down to the sort of colouring, they've got orange accents. It's kind of dark grey or perhaps black by the look of the picture. Orange accents around the sticks and some of the buttons. Yeah. It looks, for all purposes, like something the designers of the Switch will come up with. It's all integrated. You can't remove the Joy-Cons or anything by the look of it. It looks very smart. Yeah,
I think that's exactly what I sent to Steve, the video of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as with all these machines, though, it's going to depend on the power, isn't it? I mean, they're saying it's an i7 processor, Iris Xe integrated graphics card or graphics ability. See what happens. 16 gig of RAM.
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the chat. Is that it? The one that you saw?
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. It looks pretty smart. I can't imagine it will be anywhere near as cheap as a Switch Pro. But
no.
It's going to be reasonable money. I don't know whether they mentioned the price, do they, or estimated?
I did watch it, but I can't remember what they said about it.
It's just going down now. They reckon that the entry level is going to be about 700, and if you want the higher spec, it's about grand, 1,060. They're quoting yet, but that's because they're converting it from dollars. So. Yeah, obviously not as cheap as a Switch, or probably even a Switch Pro. I can't imagine they're going to be much more than the current consoles. Probably cheaper, in fact.
Do you think? I think the Switch Pro come out about £400.
Yeah, I would say it will compete with the PS5 or the Xbox, I would say.
Probably just slightly undercutting both.
Maybe, yeah.
With that feature of we've also got a screen.
Yeah, that's what Nintendo does, isn't it?
Yeah, normally. Okay, well, some interesting tech coming along on the horizon.
Yeah.
And there is still supposedly the Atari console coming at some point.
Well, Google that and see what we come up with, but...
Do people actually still want that, do you think?
I don't know.
Are they saying it's going to be competitive in terms of power with the current gen, like the new gen?
Well, they said it'll do 4K gaming and stuff like that, but I think that the main focus is on the back history catalogue.
Will it have backwards compatibility with, like, cartridges?
No.
Yeah, you are roping, aren't you?
I was just joking. Really.
No, but I think that you'll just download the game probably for free off their store or something or other like that.
So, wouldn't you? It'd be like a ROM.
Yeah, but, be interested to see what it's like, but I just have a funny feeling that that's going to end up being like another Ouya.
Yeah.
Because I actually got one of those.
Did you? I
did. I got one for the whole purpose of doing a review of it, and then I got rid of it immediately, which I'm really glad about, seeing as they closed the store.
It ran on Android, didn't it?
It did.
It ran on Android.
Yeah, it was all right.
So did you just play the games that were available on the Google Play Store?
Well, they weren't on the Play Store, they were on the Ouya store.
Oh.
And you could play the first little bit of games for free.
Right.
On there. And the controller, which, to be fair, that controller I've seen prop up in different, guises all over the place since, was quite comfortable to hold. Bit bulky, but it was okay. But the console itself was like really small.
Yeah.
It was, if you know what I mean, for a standard size sort of Easter egg, it'd be like an egg cup for that sort of size. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of like how big it was. But it wasn't too bad as a console. It was just a bit of a failed concept and quite underpowered, if anything. But it did what it did okay. Nothing exceptional. Be interested. I think we're probably going to see a few of these different type of ones coming up, because I think people are trying to plug the gap of the supply and demand chain as well.
Yeah.
But who knows? Anyway, Steve, do you want to do the new releases?
Okay. So, new releases we have, starting with TFCs. No dates for these here? Cool, okay.
Is it week of the 23rd, is it?
It should be the week of the 23rd, yeah.
Okay. Normally you've got the dates alongside. Anyway,
something's gone wrong on there on the cutting.
Yeah. Have you got the other? Can you read it from Raw, from where you got it?
I've got.
It just tells you what the games are. So you've got TFCs, an Airport of Aliens. It's all a bit ski with this end. I don't know what you got.
Yeah,
Man Eater. Is that the
Shark one?
Shark game that wasn't very well received first time round.
That's going on Game Pass, isn't it?
Is it straight away?
So. Saw a picture for it.
You got Biomutant, Oddworld Collection, Song of Horror Complete Edition, Roots of Pasha. Is that Pasha? And World's End Club. Is that all of them, Haydn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. There's not many. So King of Thieves is on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on the 25th. An Airport for Aliens, currently run by Dogs, is on the PC and Xbox Series X on the 25th. Manny is on the Switch. Biomutants, obviously, on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Oddworld's on the Switch. Songs of Horrors, PS4 and Xbox One. Roots of Pancha, PC. And World End Club is on the Switch.
The Oddworld Collection, is that going back to all of the original games?
I think so, yeah. So if you're a fan of that, but I have to admit, I played the Oddworld Collection on the latest one, Sunstorm or whatever it is, on the PlayStation 5. Did not get on with it at all.
The original games I used to find quite tough.
Those games were tough those days, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, to be fair, this one was tough as well. But I've never really been a fan of that franchise.
They went for the kind of comedy, didn't they? Initially, at least in the early games, they were doing sort of things that were funny that you'd probably never seen in a game. But
with a concept that's right off Solid Green.
Yeah. Should we do subscriptions?
There's not much on there. NBA 2K21.
Epic. You've got Epic. NBA 2K21, yeah. And is it another mystery game, or is that
it's another mystery game after that, but so NBA 2K21's available until the 27th of May, and then after that it's another mystery game unlocking.
That's meant to be very good, NBA. I haven't played the latest. I haven't played it for a few years, but if you're a basketball fan, you'd be all over it, I would imagine.
Probably looks pretty cool as well, very realistic.
Yeah, very much so. We saw it at EGX years ago, didn't we? And thought it looked like TV coverage. Yeah, especially on the big screens they have up there.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, because Steve's got Destiny 2 to talk about, so seeing as that, Marc, you've had the big purchase this week.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Go on then. Okay, so I got my Series X. I don't know what I was playing earlier in the week. It doesn't matter now, really. But I got my Series X. I haven't had a lot of time with it because I've been working and sort of dealing with other things as well. But I just wanted to give my kind of early thoughts on it, really. And I like I said earlier, I really like the form of it. I I think it is, you know, there's a certain elegance in its simplicity. I don't know whether I'm just being a bit of a fanboy now, but nodding at me. But it is it's really nice and quiet. You barely even know it's there. It's a lot faster, I think. And I know people are saying that, you know, it isn't really a proper next-gen experience because it's basically using the very similar OS and everything's the same. But it's so much faster in game running and loading, not to the point where, you know, it makes the games run too fast like it used to in the olden days, but everything just runs so much smoother, and like the upgrades that you get in FPS and things like that, you just can't ignore them. You know, it makes a massive difference, I think, to how you experience playing a game. I mean, if you think earlier today, I thought I'd give Ghost Recon Breakpoint a go, and this is a game I've put, you know, hundreds of hours into, and yet on the Series X, because the loading time was so quick, and I think there's, you know, a little bit of a smoothing out on the graphics, but the frame rate, everything just seemed to be so much smoother, and you didn't really have any glitches that you would get on the Xbox One.
Well, is that one of the games that's on the 60 FPS?
I haven't actually checked, to be honest, whether it is or whether it's just because it was loading so quickly, whether it just gave me kind of like a false sense. Do you see what I mean? Other than what you see in front of you on the machine, I think the controller feels better as well, slightly. I like the start and the select buttons, as they used to be called. They seem to be slightly more risen, you know, more pronounced on the Series X controller over my one controller. I don't know whether they actually are, but they just seem to be easier to find almost. I don't know.
It's not, by the way.
It's not. It's just me and my brain. Then
maybe because you've got a new controller, you're thinking it is in your head.
Yeah, maybe it is. But I think it's the loading times that make a huge difference. I mean, MLB, the show, which I've also played, because I'm playing the kind of single player career mode where you just take your player and you try and work him up to winning the World Series. You can play a game, and you can play a game just as your player, and there's an option to only play the bits that involve your player, otherwise you'll just sit there watching potentially. So I do that, and you can get through a game in a few minutes sometimes, depending on how the game goes. Sometimes it's 5-10 minutes, but you just work through the games, bit of batting practice, everything just takes so much quicker. And that, I know MLB is optimized, isn't it? It's one of the optimized ones, so that would make a difference anyway. But I'm just been quite impressed with it so far, and I know it's using the same OS, but I never really had an issue with that anyway. So just all generally, I'm looking forward and excited about the potential, because you can really, I think that's the difference. You can actually you get a sense that it's a much more powerful machine just by the way it works through what you're doing.
Do you feel it feels next gen though? I
think the game, when I'm playing MLB, yes, I think that it looks slightly better. I know I'm not on 4K, but it looks slightly better, but it's just the way the game kind of goes from one situation to a menu or something like that is also much faster. That's the difference I'm noticing more than anything else at the moment. I mean, Ghost Recon, it loads up in you're playing almost within the time it used to get to the title screen or the select screen of your save or something like that, and you're already playing. That's the difference I'm noticing. I did play the Master Chief Collection because it was one of the games I had on the hard drive that I switched over, the external hard drive. But obviously that didn't really show it off to its full potential because I played the original Halo campaign, Combat Evolved. But I'm just you can see the potential that it has. I think that's the thing. I've just got to get a 4K TV in this room I'm in now. That's what.
That's going to be what you need to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I have one, big 4K TV in the main living room, but not in here at the moment. But if I put it in the living room, it'll my son will use it all the time, and I'll never get. I'll be at work anyway, but I won't get to use it.
Yeah. Just thinking of Halo, actually. Have either of you seen the Halo Master Chief Halo Infinite trailer recently?
Not
Only
recently.
the one that was shown, probably.
Because
E3 was on.
There was the
when
one
I
they
was-
showed. Yeah, go on.
as I say that I watched it again recently, and I'm sure that they've dumbed down the graphics to be a bit more cartoony than what I originally remembered seeing. You know, when before Xbox Series X got released, when they were showing this is what Master Chief's going to be like, and that sort of was semi-realistic, and now it's more sort of, how can I put it, more Fortnite-ish.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope not.
That sounds disappointing.
Yeah, you have a look at the trailer
I will
again, and
finish.
I'm sure that they've dumbed down the graphics on that trailer.
When they released the original trailer, it did get heavily criticised, didn't it, for saying how bad it looked in terms of
That wasn't really the trailer. That was the
fidelity
gameplay,
of the
wasn't it?
graphics.
That was the gameplay.
I thought the people were saying it was all right. I thought that what they were complaining about was the Master Chief Collection graphics. Or am I remembering that wrong?
I thought it was a trailer last year.
The trailer was only an FMV trailer anyway.
Yeah.
And the gameplay they showed at E3 was a bit poor, and that's what kicked off.
Because they were saying there was a kind of a backlash when they delayed it.
Yeah, the gameplay
people saying, they're delaying it so they can actually make it look good.
Oh no, this was just literally trailer, and it just looked more on the lines of sort of Fortnite sort of quality graphics than Mass Effect quality graphics, shall we say?
Right. Yeah, because Master Chief, I mean, if you actually go through the games, he gets a bit. The realism side is where they have been favouring, because he gets more battle worn, and his armour gets a bit scarred up, and as the games have gone on,
yeah,
you think that would just progress from there, really. But
maybe, but who knows? But I just still think that they should get Bungie back and do Master Chief, because 343 Studios just ain't doing it justice.
Not at the moment.
That ain't gonna happen for a million years.
We'll see what happens with Infinite, I guess, before and then throw them out, throw them under a bus.
Steve, do you want to tell us about Destiny?
Just a bit of an update, really, because this weekend we had. Okay, you don't play it anymore. Okay?
That wasn't me.
Was that you, Marc? Was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
you
sorry.
You need to be on there. No, so this week Iron Banner came on. There was a glitch for a couple of days. People were spending their coins like they're going out of fashion, but not getting drops. But that looks like there's been a patch that's been fixed. Obviously, Season of the Splices is carrying on. I'm up to 27 out of 100 on that. This week's drop in the Nightfall is the Hung Jury. I did 2 nights of grinding until I got a drop for that, which was a hurrah sort of thing for me, because I was doing it 2 nights on the trot and just not getting it. But the day after, I just sort of took a relaxed morning and did one, and it came straight away. So that was pretty cool. Last thing, the Vortal Glass Race to the Finish, that started at the weekend. It was won by a clan called Elysium. They did it in 2 hours 26 minutes.
I've obviously made it too easy then.
Well, it's the
Vortal,
it is, but it is the Vortal Glass, and everyone knows how to play it now, don't they? So it's not like they had to discover how to do it.
Oh, so it's exactly the same rate?
Yeah, it is. It's there. They brought it back, yeah.
The weapons that you get on these, are they yours now for good? Or when the season finishes, you don't lose them?
No, those weapons are yours. Obviously, the power in them have a limit, and obviously at some point they will be over. The power would get to a certain point where they won't be any good to you anymore. I know we do keep some of the weapons back anyway, and leaving that vault. But there's other weapons or other iterations of them coming out which would have a higher drop on. So not drop, sorry, but have a higher power rating on it. Where some of the old weapons, like actually, because I'm in my vault at the moment, that does not mean I'm playing it. Okay, so if I just pick an old weapon that's got a cap on it now. The cap is 1060 on it, And obviously at the moment we're running at, if I go to my player, we're running at 1311 now. So those are capped at and won't go any higher when you try to use them.
Basically, any armor that you got in like the Season of Solace or whatever it was called, or the special event that they had, which would have had a cap on the power level to be. Oh, isn't it the way that they've done it is that they've balanced it so that the season before last's armor.
They called it sunsetting. Weapons, that's what they were calling it.
Yeah, basically reach their sort of like zenith power, and that's like the bottom level of power for the new season. So you only go back 2 seasons, and then anything that you got is sort of like out of date.
But the thing is, though, with the armor side of things, all those you can use anyway because they're in there to be used in the configuration of word is now. You can actually go to a helmet and you can change its look. All the ones you've got are there to use to just give it another fresh kind of paint. So I'm on 318 at the moment, so still rocking it. But yeah, this season's really good fun. I'm really enjoying it, and I wanted to get the hung jury because that was one of my favourite weapons from Destiny 1.
I know I mocked at the beginning, Steve, but it is one of the games I downloaded onto my Series X.
Well, bloody right, so. We'll get you on it. I know Haydn might briefly come on for a moment, but
Yeah, I'll come on.
As was one of your games, Haydn, as well. Not the first one, the second one.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Other than that, I did dive into a little bit of Mass Effect, just briefly. I think that's about it, really. I did have a glitch with the Resident Evil, funnily enough. After I did this update today with the controller and the Xbox, I went to go in there briefly, and where it says hit A on your controller to carry on from where you left off, I couldn't do anything with it. So I had to close out resume on that game and restart it from the latest save point. That's not a problem. It was only a couple of minutes in, but that seemed a bit weird for me. Don't know why I did that. But, just really got the Destiny bug at the moment with this season, and with what's going on with it at the moment. So,
what do you mean at the moment?
Well, I had a few weeks break. I know you don't realise this.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I did. I really didn't go back to it after the last season had finished. When it had carried on, I'd gone as far as I wanted to. I was just thought, that's it for now, and I was playing other games.
And about 3 seasons ago, I was well ahead of Steve, and he knew he couldn't catch up, so he stopped playing.
Yeah, right. But Haydn doesn't come on anymore. I'm Billy No Mates at the moment.
No, I do play Destiny. I play it on PC, though, because I like to play the superior version.
Yeah. Anyway, what about you then, Haydn? Because you've got something to talk about.
Yeah, I started playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition as well, continuing to love that game. That, to me, I'm playing a little bit every couple of days, and I'm sort of like treating it a bit like a fine wine, sipping it rather than gulping it down. The big one this week was the launch of the new Elite Dangerous expansion of Odyssey. So this is the latest one in the universe. Because I was a Kickstarter for Elite Dangerous and had the season pass, I get lifetime season passes. So it doesn't matter how many they release, as long as it's on Elite Dangerous, I'll get that upgrade for free. So I've gone through Horizons and the other expansions that they've done to the game as well, which is really good. So
sorry, Haydn, is that PC only?
Yes, it is. It is, and you can't actually get that anymore because it was sort of like a Kickstarter early adopter sort of thing. So Odyssey at the moment is only on PC. It is coming to consoles, but obviously they always start things off on PC on Elite Dangerous because that's where it all started anyway. There's lots of new developments in this. The biggest thing, of course, being the fact that it's a first-person shooter mode, and you've now got new weapons because you've obviously got the handguns and machine guns and all these other different types of tools to allow you to go and do stuff on missions. So there's loads of different equipment, and planets have atmospheres as well as different sort of missions for you to be able to do. And the planetary atmospheres are really nice. You fly down and suddenly have this like lovely yellow sky or blue sky or whatever, above you. It looks really good. They've done a good job of that. There's also additional details in things like scanning for life forms on planets, which will then show you sort of like a heat map, which is where life is. Some planets have sort of vegetation on there as well, which could go down. There's lots of things for you to look at on some of the planets. The game, now when you first boot it up, it starts with a tutorial, which I think is actually the best tutorial that they've done so far, and it does teach you all of the basics. So basically, you land you're on a planet. You've got to go to a base. You've got to switch on the power in the base, which has been invaded. In order to do that, you've got to scan some bodies that have been that are lying around the place because they're being killed in whatever attack. To be able to get the right ID, to be able to switch everything on. You then clone that ID, switch everything on. The place then gets invaded by pirates who you have to fight off, and then you come and get picked up. I think it's a Cobra Mark IV actually that they fly you in, which is a very rare ship in that universe. I actually have one in my collection of ships, but not many people can actually get that. I don't think you can actually get that anywhere in the universe at the moment. It was sort of like a limited time thing, and then on the Xbox One I was gutted because I sold mine, forgetting the fact that I couldn't pick it up again, which was a bit of a thing, but never mind. I've got it on PC. And then you fly back up, you go to a space station, you get off the ship. You really get a sense of how big these ships are when you actually stood next to one, because even though you see the little ramp drop down, you just don't really, until you're in first person mode, get that sort of appreciation of just how huge the ships are. And then you just go, you walk into the station and then it just sort of closes, and then you go back into the game. So my PC character is sort of on its way to Alpha Centauri. Not Alpha Centauri, Sagittarius A, which is the black hole in the centre of the galaxy. So I'm 22 light years outside of the main human bubble and about 2/3 of the way from the second bubble in the Milky Way galaxy to Sagittarius A. So I'm not near any humans at the moment. So evidently there's stuff going on in the first human bubble, which is where Earth is and all of the surrounding star systems from the first part of the game, and then they opened up something at the other 22 light years away, 24 light years away, which literally took 24 hours of traveling to that place in gameplay in real time. To get to, but through jumping, filling up fuel with your fuel scoop, jumping again, keep doing that. So traveling around the universe takes a long time in this thing. So it's going to be a while before I actually get back to the human bubble. But I haven't been to Sagittarius. I sort of like stopped playing it for a while, and I've missed out on quite a bit. I was amazed at how much muscle memory I had forgotten. On this game as well, because it is definitely a punishing game for if you don't know how to play it. But it's also or forget it, but it's actually really quite rewarding to play as well. There's a lot the game doesn't tell you. The tutorials on it really weren't that good back in the day. I think that they've done some different tutorials now, so I haven't tried those, but it should be quite good. So that's it really. It's another major milestone to this, really beating Star Citizen as well, which I need to jump back into because obviously I'm a Kickstarter for that as well. Last time I played Star Citizen was about a year or so ago, so I'll be interested to see how much has changed on there. Due to the differences in the universes now, this is where things get a bit confusing. In terms of anybody on Odyssey, you're in a different sort of universe to everybody who's in Horizons. So PC and console players on Horizons can still play with each other, but anybody on Odyssey can only play with themselves. There's a statement in itself. But when they've done some more patches, all of that will migrate over so that everybody will be back in the same universe. But of course, you can still play solo play in that, because if you're not really competent with fighting, you don't want to come across somebody, who's going to rob you of everything that you've got, another human player. So you can actually play within the same universe, but as a solo player. So that means you can't interact with other players, and they just don't show up on your radar or anything like that, and so hence can't attack you. So you're only going against NPCs, which is the way I prefer to play.
Yeah.
I just, for me, Elite, going back to 1984, has always been a single player game. I'm not really that bothered about, going into crews and stuff like that, or, forming wings and stuff, all that sort of stuff that people do. I just can't quite like playing it, exploring the universe, and this expansion just gives it that little bit, of an extra thing for you to be able to search and enjoy.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm really liking it, so I'm going to be playing that a little bit more. And then I've also been playing Death Stranding, and I've got to admit, I've got to say thank you to Marc for this one, because he was on about what game should I play next, because he's just played Ghost of Tsushima. So I thought, well, and he was on one of the games he was talking about was Death Stranding, and I thought, it's been a while since I've played that. So I thought, well, I've got it on PC, so I'll give it a game. I'll do a bit of a recording, send it over to Marc so that he can see what some of the gameplay is like as well, and just generally decided, I quite fancied trying it out again, because when I was playing it before, I really did like. So this is like obviously Hideo Kojima's
Postman game, isn't it? That's what you call it.
Masterpiece. Yeah. Sorry, what? Postman game. Well, yeah, I can understand why people call it a Postman game. I think I called it that as well last time that I played it. On a PC, I've got to say, I mean, even on PlayStation it did anyway, but it looks amazing.
Oh, it does, yeah.
The detail, right down to the hairs standing up on Norman Reedus' arms in some scenes is just...
Or even when you see Lindsay Wagner in it, I mean...
God. Yeah, Lindsay Wagner, young and old.
Yeah.
From bodies which explode, after death, to invisible monsters, ghosts floating in the rain, babies in containers around your neck, and rain which increases the passage of time as it touches your skin, or as it's otherwise known as timefall. There isn't anything which isn't weird in this game. It's the only way to describe it. It is great to see Lindsay Wagner in there. She, they've done a stunning job of doing the younger version of her as well. And just to see, her appear as her present and, older self. And she's your mother in the game, because obviously your character's Norman Reedus' character. She plays your mother. So I think after having played the PlayStation version, I think this is a really good port, very competent, handled by 505 Games. And if you want to see what it looks like, I would suggest you pop over to the Pop Culture Gamers YouTube channel and watch the video, like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So really, I've picked up the bug for this game again. Like I said, I'd lost it somewhere I got diverted on the PlayStation, but now I'm starting this on PC again, and I've just sort of fallen in love with the weirdness of the game again.
Rely on Hideo Kojima for that.
Yeah, well, I've fallen in love with it so much. At midnight last night, I was on Amazon and I ordered the songs from the game. So it's a 20 odd track double CD, which arrived this afternoon. So I'm going to have a listen to that. I think, put it on my my iTunes collection and listen to that when I go for a walk or something or other like that. But the songs on it are really quite good. I think, Steve, you've got the full score, haven't you, for the orchestral stuff?
Yeah, that comes from Mondo. Still available, by the way, as well. I looked on their website today. Nice 3 album.
And would you rate it? Is it good?
I think so. I think the music's, it's very eerie type of music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very, for me, it's very sort of, what's the right word? Very cleansing. If you just want to shut your eyes into something, it's not too heavy. So, yeah, but I say there's some great tracks on there.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple that stand out very much so, but yeah, well worth having.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good songs as well. Is it just the instrumentals yours has?
Oh, what, the album you mean?
Yeah.
It's just the score, not any songs on it. They have released a separate vinyl album with the songs on it as well. That's sold out in a minute, and you have to go on eBay to find that, or Discogs.
Yeah, I was looking on Amazon at that, and I think it was about £43, something like that, on vinyl.
What, black vinyl?
I don't know what vinyl.
It came out on Mondo in each. It's a three vinyl album again. They're all sort of different colours.
I don't know which version it is, but it was about £40 or £50, which for me was just a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, songs from the video game. It's a black and white cover, £49.
Oh, I'm looking at it now.
And then I think the orchestral score is about 42 quid. So it's a lot of money.
It's 41, yeah, but it's 3 albums though, so you break it down. That's not bad.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, great game. If you haven't tried it, obviously, it's on PlayStation 4 and 5. Definitely download it if you can and give it a go. Well worth it.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on to movies, TV, and streaming?
In quest of a better life.
Okay, so movies, TV, and streaming. Couple of bits of news. Does anybody want to do the news? First one.
I'll do Green Lantern news. Diggle is scheduled to return on Legends, Batwoman, Supergirl, and Superman and Lois. Evidently, his character has rejected being Green Lantern, and there are consequences for his choices. Plans are also for a Green Lantern core movie. Oh, Zack Snyder did
That's
show
not
off.
Good news.
Hey, come on. You never knocked the Schneider. I'm telling you that now.
Did show off the Wayne Carr version of Green Lantern for the Snyder cut, but it was cut. John Stewart Green Lantern is scheduled for the next few years. Finn Wittrock has been cast as Guy Gardner, and Jeremy Irvine is Alan Scott in the future HBO series.
It's funny how, because we thought that at the end of was it Arrow when Diggle found the
that's what they wanted you to think, that he was going to take on the mantle, and he didn't. Yeah,
and it's a bit of a bummer, that one was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to do the next bit of news because I want to do the line of there can't be only one, because Henry Cavill, the Man of Steel.
No, I'm sorry, I'm shaking my head at this one. I really am excited about this. Sorry. Henry
Cavill, the Man of Steel and Justice League actor, is set to star in Lionsgate's reboot of Highlander, the 1986 fantasy epic, which featured Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery and Clancy Brown. So Cavill himself shared the very exciting news on Friday via Instagram, saying, "I've been a fan of Highlander since I was a lad," he wrote. From the movies in all of their 80s Queen slathered glory to the TV show with the actor who looked remarkably like one of his brothers. It's not yet known what Cavill will be playing, as there's not much information about the movie. But let's face it, he's going to be McLeod, isn't he?
I don't think they should remake it. I still don't.
Unless it's a different character.
Unless it could be, because the TV show had a different McLeod, didn't they? So
no, if it's a reboot, they're going to be doing well. Sorry, I don't like the idea of that myself.
Yeah,
I don't think it was worth. It's one of those films you don't touch, personally.
I haven't watched them for a long time. But I would imagine them, from what I remember, to look a bit dated now.
Well, this is a conversation that Steve and I have had on a number of occasions.
You see, this sort of film is a time travel film in a way, because it bounces through time.
Yeah, and I know he lives through.
But what I mean is, I've said this to the missus. When you watch this sort of movie, it's all right. It was set in the 80s, but it bounces around in time. So really, you could have seen that film any time, because it still has that existence of all those different time capsules that they're filming with. So do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I disagree, because I feel that in terms of the way that the cinematography and everything is, I feel that the movie is dated, as in terms of watchability.
It's like they tried to reboot Predator and make that again, and it just doesn't work. You know.
But they didn't reboot Predator. They did a sequels to it, which
they've been trying to add to it, and it's just
I don't think it's so much the setting of the movies that date it. I think it's kind of what Haydn was saying, and it's more the style that it's made in. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, and I think as well, say is the lead woman in the future, is she called Brenda, if I remember rightly?
Yes, she's a little girl that he finds during the German World War, isn't it?
That's
right. No, not her. The cop that he's friends with.
Oh. The one that's got the book to do with the sword and all that.
The one that Clancy Brown kidnaps at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because the dubbing of the audio for her screaming and stuff like that, it's any more cheesy, you'd have to have crackers to watch
what they do though, sometimes the actors, the actresses in this case, can't give a good scream, so they go to library tapes for screams. Instead.
And it's stuff like that, I think, that is.
And they still do it now. I can't remember what film I was looking into. I was researching, and the woman, it was a really recent movie, and she couldn't get it right, so they got some library screens out of the book. But
But I just, the last time I watched it, I actually found it a bit painful to watch, because I just thought this film has not matured as good as many other movies of the same time period, or even earlier.
I forgive it, I think, because of the type of film it is. Because
it's
a travel movie. But I mean, it's going to be made regardless of what I think about it. I'll probably still watch it, but I have a very I've got a heart close to that film. I've got a real torch to it, and
we know that they generally speaking, reboots are awful. Look at Total Recall.
Yeah.
I didn't even actually see it. I didn't want to see it. I knew it'd be bad. It was.
Colin Farrell, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but he ain't no Schwarzenegger.
No, that's weird. I've not seen it, the reboot either, but that just seems a weird casting choice to me.
Very weird. Very weird. I think it'd have been better off with Jason Statham or someone like that.
Yeah. You don't really need.
Having said that, though, I think they'd have been better off with a bit of cheese rather than Colin.
Damn.
Yeah. Wensleydale. So, I think it's going to be an interesting one for being quite controversial, because I know that Highlander is a loved movie, and Steve, I know that you're a big fanboy of it, and I'm not saying that as a criticism, but equally, I think that it is one that could possibly work as a reboot.
I think it'd be interesting to see how they handle a soundtrack as well.
Well, yeah, because they won't be using Queen, will they?
Well, you wouldn't have thought so, no.
Well, no, but
I can't imagine. I don't think they will use. Well, they might use the original soundtrack, but I doubt it.
No, I don't think they'll. if they're going to
depends
reboot it, you're going to do it from scratch, and you're going to
they
have.
might
They might have a band doing it. It'd just be a score.
Yeah,
So-
that's right. I mean, they might just go with maybe one band again, but I don't know.
They do. I don't think they will. I think there'll just be a normal standard score for it.
Yeah,
Who's the modern version of Queen?
yeah, exactly.
I tell you what ain't. It was the winner of the Eurovision Song Contest.
I wouldn't know. I didn't even watch it.
No,
Me and my son
no,
were
I
watching
say-
Indiana Jones.
I heard that we got 0 points.
No, I tell you what happened. Right, we just finished watching
Nil
something. I'm not.
point.
We watched a film last night, and we turned it off, and I just put the TV on. Actually, that film isn't in today's chat anyway. But anyway, and the Eurovision Song Contest was on at the time, and they said, "Now here's Italy," and it's like sort of death metal sort of music, and I thought, great. Then the next morning, I actually saw that I actually won it. I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah,
thought,
it's crazy, isn't it?
absolutely ridiculous. But hey ho.
Me and my son, we've started the Saturday night movie history sort of night. So Raiders of the Lost Ark this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I watched that with my son back in lockdown.
So is next week going to be Temple
Temple of Doom. Yeah.
No, it's sort of like a sample of different ones. So we'll come back to the other indie ones later. But I think next week it's going to be Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's got a reboot. Well, not a reboot. That's got another one coming, isn't it?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting how they will do without what do you call him?
And there was a few movies that got a few sort of anniversaries today. I mean, Shining is 43 years old today.
Wow.
Couldn't believe that.
Mm.
Makes you feel old, even more so when you hear that.
Am I right in remembering that Alan Rickman is in Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen.
Mhm.
Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah, God.
Sam Rockwell.
Lie. It's a good movie. It's funny.
It is. And
That
I think
kid-
that's his humour as well. He'll
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
the kid in that, the one of the fans of the show, he was in the last Die Hard movie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Oh,
wasn't his son, John
Yeah.
McClane's son.
Yeah, and also he was in what was it? If I go to my vinyl looking so there, he was also in Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi movie, which is brilliant, by the way.
Okay, well, Steve, do you want to do the cinema releases?
Can I do the Blu-ray DVD actually? Because I've actually edited it. So
Yeah, okay then.
Shall I do the cinema releases?
yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I went
You
to
go
do the Blu-ray for a reason.
Okay. Is there?
Yeah, it's because he's
no, I'm not
highlighted
gonna
My
say
Fair
it.
Lady, that's right.
Okay, these are the cinema releases beginning the 26th of May, and we've got Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and then we've got on the 27th of May, Sir Alex Ferguson, Never Give In, 28th of May, Cruella, First Cow, Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, Riverdance, the animated adventure, really, and Surge, a 2020 movie. They've got an animated adventure of Riverdance, have they now?
Oh, there you go. Is that Mr. Flatley can be doing that, is he?
Yeah, well, it's all the only way he can do it now, probably. Animated.
Yeah, he'll probably do his back in.
Yeah.
But not a lot there.
One for the fans is the Sir Alex Ferguson movie, isn't it?
Man United fans, but
Yeah.
Conjuring, I've been following those movies, so that might be interesting.
Okay. Anything for you, Haydn? Billie Eilish?
Nothing there at all that it's
No.
inspiring.
It's not a good week.
No. Go on then, Steve, do your updated Blu-ray.
Okay, well, I was actually going to add Blowout. I was just trying to double check and see if that was the Arrow release, but just the DVD, so I'm assuming it's not the same movie that John Travolta was in some time ago. So I'll just do the ones in black.
Well, you know that it's a link next to it, and it is the John Travolta one.
I can't see the link here, obviously, but
Right, click on the one where it says "Bye."
oh yeah, but I can't. Yeah, I've actually.
Open link.
So is that the Arrow? Is it? Because
It's not an Arrow one, no. It doesn't have the Arrow
is it the
colouring on it.
Criterion copy then? But that's not available in the UK yet. That version, if it is.
Final Cult Entertainment.
Okay, a bit weird. Don't know that one. Okay, David Attenborough, The Great Barrier Reef, Blu-ray and DVD. Interesting. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, we got Season 7 limited edition Steelbook Blu-ray, and if you fancy just the Blu-ray and DVD version, you've got that as well. Mandy, that's what I wanted to talk about. Limited edition with Nicolas Cage. Now, this is a really good movie. I thoroughly would recommend that one. I know not to Haydn.
That's an oxymoron. Nicolas Cage, a good movie. Those two were the worst.
I have got a few people that would be behind me in that one. It's a really good film. Anyhow, Mission Impossible had its anniversary this week. The 25th Blu-ray edition is out at the moment.
Is that's the first Tom Cruise movie, is it?
It is, yeah.
That's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't
it? When you look at him in the movie, he looks about 6.
I don't know about that, but yeah, he does. I mean, they weren't close together made, were they, for a while? Not like they are now. But,
no.
It's still, to be honest, it's still one of my favourite of the franchise. It comes maybe a sneaky in front of Fallout, maybe, but I just think it's a brilliant film. Brian De Palma's, class, I think, personally. Anyway, My Fair Lady, yeah, 4K Blu-ray. If anybody knows that one, deadly silence.
I'm aware of the movie. It's something.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it though? Have you ever seen it?
I think I watched it as a kid.
I did as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things that your mother makes you watch as a kid.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Along with the Sound of Music, but anyhow, The Saint, which was a great TV show with Val Kilmer playing Simon Templar. That's in Blu-ray.
It's the movie starring Val Kilmer, not the series.
No, yeah, it's the movie. Yeah, no. What I said, The Saint was the TV series, but this is the movie with Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, last but not least, Zack Snyder's Justice League Blu-ray 4K edition is out tomorrow.
What's that?
It's something for people with insomnia to help them try and get to sleep.
Right.
That's it. It'd be damn sight better than the Tom and Jerry movie that's on this list that we're not talking about.
You skipped over Tom and Jerry, the movie.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because it's not blacked out. We don't do every one of them. But you fancy you want to talk about it? Have you seen it?
No. I used to. My son and I are big fans of Tom and Jerry, the old ones. I don't know what the new ones
are. Yeah. Oh no, then they're just nothing like it. Obviously, you had something else on.
No, I was going to say I think Tom and Jerry started to go downhill when they gave them voices, actual words and voices. That is.
You can't beat the original though.
No, they're great.
But when you became a parent, did you watch Tom and Jerry and think, actually, this is hyper-violent and I'm not sure I want my kids to watch it?
Well, no, because The Simpsons was probably worse than that anyway.
By the way, did you know Tom Cruise is 58?
So he made that when he was 33.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
But when you see how young he was, when you look at some of his earlier movies that he did, because he's done, I mean, if you go through his discography...
Top Gun is way before that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, no.
Well, Top Gun, he looks like an embryo compared to what he looks like now. I'm sure there was an umbilical cord attached.
But, what was the first one he did? No, I can't think what it was now. But Risky
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah, Risky Business. That's right.
And I mean, when he did that, and obviously Cocktail, I think they were very sort of close together and sort of how young he was then. But yeah, he's done well for himself. Can't knock it.
He's done well for himself here. That's a bit of an understatement, I'd say.
Isn't it? But you know what? I got a lot of respect for that guy, to be honest with you. I think,
he still does his own stunts, doesn't he? When he's
not breaking his legs, yeah.
Yeah. You wait to see the next one in the next Mission Impossible, this motorbike stunt he did. Apparently it was,
Yeah, and the motorbikes that he rides are absolutely amazing because they've got transformer tyres because they change halfway through a scene. In fact, halfway through a jump sometimes as well. I don't know whether you saw that on Mission Impossible 3.
Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, the latest stunt he does with the motorbike ramp, if you ever look at that online and look at the actual jump he's going to do, he puts evil to shame.
Yeah.
God, the weather outside is dreadful.
I think Rebecca De Mornay, you don't really see her very much now.
Well, he married her, didn't he? He did marry her.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Really?
Well, actually, I know the film she did the was it The Thriller, which was a babysitter or something, if I remember rightly? Without going into the movie database, but
she was quite a serious actor, isn't she?
Mm.
He's never married Rebecca De Mornay.
Didn't he? He must have been doing something else.
According to Wikipedia.
No?
No, he didn't marry her. I thought that was a bit strange when he said that.
Yeah,
Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and
Yeah.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, no, I think I think there's stories of other things that went on maybe, but we won't go into it. Don't keep it kid friendly, aren't we?
Yeah. Were you thinking of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle? Is
That's
that the
it.
one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do the cinema charts. So, because we can. Way cinema charts. So at number 5, how we've got a number 5 down from 4, I don't know, but is Spider-Man: Far From Home. At number 4 is Justice Society, World War II. That's a bit different. At number 3, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
What?
Yeah. At number 2, it's Wonder Woman 1984. And at number 1, it's The Little Things.
Speak for yourself.
Straight in at number 1.
I was going to say, isn't that what Nicole Kidman said when she was talking about Tom Cruise?
It's The Little
I always
Things.
wonder when you see these actors that when they're very short, they have to stand on boxes sometimes to do the shot.
Yeah. On
That sort of thing.
Tom Cruise's, I didn't think Katie Holmes was very tall, but on Tom Cruise's Wikipedia page, he's standing. There's a picture of him stood next to Katie Holmes, and she's quite a bit taller than him.
Well, he's 5'7",
Yeah.
and she's 5'9".
I'm a bit suspect that is, I reckon.
And Nicole Kidman is 5'11".
Yeah, she's quite tall.
Mm.
Yeah, she's done very right for herself in some of the movies she's been in.
I'll tell you what movie I watched recently with Tom Cruise was Vanilla Sky.
Oh, I haven't seen it one in an age.
Reasonably, yeah, it's quite old now. I've never seen it, but it's quite.
Yeah. I've forgotten how much I liked that movie.
Mm.
It was a good film because wasn't it Penelope Cruz? That was sort of like when he started a relationship with her, wasn't it? But did she appear in the first? Was it French version of the film?
Possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
'Cause I'm sure that it was something like that, or French or Spanish or something. I'm sure it was a European movie originally, but I forgot how good that movie was.
Nicole Kidman's. Obviously, do you remember? Did you ever see Dead Calm? That was great film.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic movie was Dead Calm.
Yeah,
with Sam Neill.
that's it. And who's the other guy? Oh, I got his name now. He's in Zoolander as well, and in Titanic. Oh man, I can't remember his name now.
Not sure which one you mean there, Steve.
No.
So yeah, no. In Titanic, he was. Do you remember Titanic? Then you with the famous movie, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know when she was, her husband on the boat.
Yeah.
Him. He was. Sure, was he in that as well? I can't remember. He was now. Dick. Should be able to see because I've got that on my.
Billy Zane.
Yeah.
Actually, here's something. I don't know whether or not you ever noticed, but you know the Biff's 3 goons on Back to the Future Part 2?
Yeah.
Billy Zane's one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only noticed that on watching it recently. And I was looking at that's Billy Zane, and my wife was looking at me as if, what are you on about? Don't you know who he is?
And did you know, right, going on the Tom Cruise bit now, I only saw it because the guys I listen to their podcast, the guys who do Mission Impossible podcast. Now, obviously, in the first Mission Impossible movie, you had the guy who was in the lift who got crashed. But he because he had that sort of cameo as such, because Tom Cruise was in the Young Guns. Not people don't know this, but he actually played a small part in that. Made up though, you wouldn't have known it was him. Just for a favour. Just
going back to Nicole Kidman for a second, one of the movies I quite like with her is with Daniel Craig as well, called The Invasion, which is a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I know, yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, not a patch on the original, obviously, but
no,
probably not. I mean, I still say the '78 version is better than that version, but not as good as the original in '50s. But
it's still enjoyable though, and as is the Stepford the Stepford Wives rather than Housewives.
Stepford Housewives, yeah.
Yeah, which is obviously the remake that she did with who played Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
And that's got Christopher Walken in as well,
Yeah,
which is
because
you always
actually-
get a fantastic movie with
The
Christopher
thing is,
Walken.
he's saying though, in Dead Calm, he has actually got hair in that movie
Yeah, he has.
because he doesn't have any more.
Take it you talk about Back to the Future now rather than Stepford Wives.
No, what about in Dead Calm? Because
Oh,
in
Dead Calm. Yeah, he
because
does.
He was a villain in that, wasn't
Yeah, he was. It was like real psycho, but yeah, good movie. Anyway, should we go into what we've been watching?
he?
So, Steve.
We didn't do the Blu-ray chart, did we?
No, we didn't. That's very good. Very true.
Sorry.
Go on then, Mark. You can go.
Okay. So a new entry at number 5, we've got The United Way. Re-entry at number 4, Moana. Number 3 is a new entry, The Little Things. And at number 2, staying there, is Wonder Woman 1984. And a new entry straight in for Justice Society World War II at number 1.
It's really interesting at the moment where we're getting stuff that's on Blu-ray and DVD in the same things in the charts as the cinema.
Yeah,
I don't think we've
yeah.
never had that before.
No, it's odd, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's very odd, isn't it?
really. So, okay. So, Mark, I take it you've not got anything that you've been watching because you haven't put any notes in.
No, not of any significance, really. Usual kind of comedy. I watched a little bit of Fawlty Towers this week, actually, but yeah, nothing. Work has been really busy. I'm just tired. You know,
Yeah,
I can't sit down. If I sit down and watch a movie, I'll probably fall asleep. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. So, Steve, what have you been watching?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to talk about Army of the Dead, but I haven't actually got to watch it yet.
Is that the new Netflix?
That's the new Zack Snyder movie. That is correct. It is, yes.
Who?
Zack Snyder, yeah, of course. Yeah. So Dave Bautista. So yeah, I really want to sit and watch that at some point. But anyhow, yeah. So last night I was just in the mood just to sit and watch a movie, and I thought, well, I've been watching my box set of the Deathwish movies, and next on the line was Deathwish 3. So I don't know about you two guys. Have you ever got to see the Deathwish movies at all?
This is Charles Bronson, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of, I think for me, it was released at a time where I wasn't really old enough.
No, well, I don't think I was to be with Deathwish. Was very
certainly
controversial.
By 86 that you've put on here, I was probably getting to be old enough, but I just think it was a wrong time for me. I haven't seen them.
Yeah. Well, obviously we all remember the original, very controversial film from Michael Winger, with certain scenes of rape and stuff in there, and with the very young Jeff Goldblum in the original film.
Yeah.
So Deathwish 3, he comes back to New York. So Paul Kirsty is the vigilante killer. And without saying too much about it, because I thought it's well worth watching, and it was quite a shock. I didn't realise this until I watched it last night. But there was a couple of actors and actresses in this that I not necessarily forgot or didn't realise it was in it. So what this is about is there's a load of gangs hassling this neighbourhood, and Paul Kirsty goes to see his friend in this neighbourhood, and he's just been murdered by the gang, and the police walk in on him as he's got his gun out, and they presume he's killed him, so he's thrown into jail. The head of the department realises who he is and asks him to do us a favour because the New York police are not having a good time with it, so he's asked him to report back and maybe take a few of them out for him. So he goes to move into his place, and this is a really good. Actually, Deathwish 2 was all right. Actually, not too bad. But it was more to do with his daughter. But this one here, very good movie. And a couple of cameos. You've got Marina Sirtis in this one, and you've got Alex Winter from Bill and Ted as well. He plays one of the gang members. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching this last night. I thought it was a bit late to watch a movie, but I ended up watching the whole thing. And he's got a nice sort of 44 Magnum style weapon he's using this time against the villains of the piece. So, yeah, can't beat a good bit of Charles Bronson, honestly.
I remember the first time I saw Deathwish 3, and
did you know that she was in it, Marina? Because she got raped in this film.
I can't. The last time I saw this,
yeah,
was in 1986, and I was at school.
Well, do you remember the girl that got raped and died?
See, I remember next to nothing apart from it was hyper violent and there was Charles Bronson in it, and I think there was some sort of like rape scenes, and that was about it. So basically, I remembered it was a Deathwish movie.
If you go to the photos in the movie database, she's actually very well tanned in this. Because at first I thought, no, that's not her, is it? Because I was having second thoughts until I actually looked on the case. And but yeah, well worth a watch again. Honestly, this is a really good one.
I always remember this because one of the kids in my year, his dad was always getting pirated movies as they were coming out or near after they came out.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was our last day of being in the fifth form before we all broke up for our exams. And we had sort of like a party afternoon. And we were allowed in the sixth formers dining area, which was like a really big thing back when you were at school. And they had a TV and a video recorder. And this lad who, for want of a better name, we'll call him Stephen, turns around and said, I've got Deathwish. And my ex-year teacher said, stick it on, I haven't seen it. And we sat and watched it with him.
What, the first one? The first movie?
No, the third one.
The third one.
And that was an 18, and we were 15.
Yeah, because I saw this one at the cinema, this one.
Yeah. That was when we first watched Deathwish.
There's one part where he grabs out this Gatling style gun with the other guy's carrying a box of the ammo, and they're just mowing them down.
Yeah,
it's real. Actually, for gun shootouts, this is really good.
Well, wasn't it on had the world record at one point of the most number of screen deaths before like Stallone came along and
possibly
Schwarzenegger? I'm sure it did at one point. One of the Deathwish movies did.
See all these. It's funny because in America, I don't know why it's always like. Do you remember the Return of the Living Dead?
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of that punk style they had. You know, that is just how the gangs were like that. I presume so. Obviously, not confirming that. And that's all these all look like, all these people that are just meddling with the locals in the neighbourhood with the old people and breaking into their houses, dicking their tellies, killing some of them as well and all sorts. And then, yeah, honestly, superb movie, this one. Well worth a watch. If you want to get the box set, I got the 5-disc box set of all the movies.
I think Deathwish is probably one of those franchises I'm not really that bothered about.
Yeah, same here.
Probably because I don't know, maybe because I'm just a tad older, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it might be just, even though, there's only 6 years between.
Yeah, they did a game as well of this, Deathwish 3 as well.
Yeah, back in the day.
I did watch Flash, by the way. I'm up to date with that at the moment.
Right.
That's all right. It's not too bad. One of the latest episodes I watched, there was a time shift where they were. So a couple of them were back in the 1980s or 1990s, whatever it was. But
yeah, that was quite amusing. But that wasn't all of them, though, was it? That was only a couple of them.
Yeah, that was, because the way that they got covered in that.
So, the new character that they've got on there?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I think that the best of them now, I think the way that they're going with Superman and Lois is better.
No, I haven't. Well, I should do at some point, get to watch that. It's not on my radar. I've got enough to watch, but
it's more adult sort of focus. Yeah. Whereas the Flash in that, I think they're becoming parodies of themselves. Although the Flash is still the better one out of all of them now. To
be honest, it's the only one we watch. My missus obviously watches a couple of other CW shows, but no, that's at the moment the only one I really watch. To be honest.
Yeah, Batwoman's awful. And it has been for both seasons.
Yeah.
Supergirl is just plain stupid. And Legends of Tomorrow is an insult to anybody who's got an IQ higher than 0. So, but I think someone's told them to get a grip on, because there was a point where DC was the best shows and they just went right off the boil. And when you look at what Marvel and Disney have done with that Marvel property for the last two shows, they're absolutely amazing. And when you look at what Loki looks like it's going to be, that is fantastic as well. And there's talk about we might see either in Loki or in the future alternative versions of like Iron Man, you know, with Tony Stark, and some speculation of could we actually even see the Tom Cruise version of Iron Man, because he was up for that role as well as Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how that would pan out.
Need a smaller suit.
Yeah, saucer of milk for Mark. That's a catty remark there, Mark.
How could you? Don't knock the Tom. Hey.
Yeah, little Tom Thumb.
Yeah.
Well, that's what. Sorry, because that's when I was thinking about Ant and Tech. They said Mick out themselves, but one of them being short.
I'll tell you what. If any of us had half of the success as Tom Cruise, we'd all be really famous.
I'm just jealous, aren't I?
Yeah,
really?
yeah, we're all completely just.
Meow, I think so.
Yeah.
There, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, I've always liked Tom Cruise, you know. But
he's got some of his movies I disagree with, not a bit for one for being made because I didn't agree with it, but it was all right, nothing special. But no, I mean Minority Report comes to mind. That's another great one.
I think it's like all actors, though. You know, you work your career and you make some great movies, you make some tough ones, and most of them probably fall somewhere in between.
I don't think he's really made too many tough ones, but I just didn't like War of the Worlds because to me it wasn't War of the Worlds. It was an American version of it.
Yeah, that was possibly his worst movie.
Yeah.
But it was watchable still.
Oh yeah. I think I've got it on DVD somewhere sitting around, but not if I get it out. But yeah, no, I mean, was it the one with Jack Nicholson? The courtroom drama was very good.
Yeah.
Few Good Men, I think it was called.
Yeah, Few Good Men. Yeah. Wasn't that Nicole Kidman as well?
I don't know. And after watching, well, yeah, I actually did watch it. What did I watch also this time? Oh yeah, I watched Rush at the weekend as well. I didn't mention that, but great movie with Thor playing James Hunt, should we say?
Yeah, I was going to say the F1 movie you're talking about, right?
Yeah. I think that I could do with a 4K version. It's not available, but it's a superb movie. Some of the photography on that of the shots of the Grand Prix and that is amazing. Yeah, and I was actually tempted. I didn't watch it that night, but I'm thinking of watching the Tom Cruise one he did to do with the motor racing in America.
Tears of Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is with Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that in the
massive hair.
Yeah.
Massive ginger hair.
Out, though. That's worth
yeah. So anyway,
that's our Tom Cruise fan page for today. Okay.
Yeah. So have you watched anything else, Steve, or is that?
No, not really. No.
Okay. So what I want to talk to you about is a series that I watched the first half of the first episode and then got distracted on something, didn't come back to it until last week, and I've now binged watched the first season and halfway through the second season, and that is a series that's on Apple TV Plus, and it is For All Mankind. So and I'm gonna say, and this, I'm not saying this lightly, this is some of the best TV I have watched for a long time.
How many seasons are there at the moment?
2 seasons. Okay. And it's basically, in an alternative 1969, the world, and especially the USA, watch in shock as the Soviet Union successfully manages to land men on the moon before NASA.
Oh, okay.
With the defeat, NASA is presented with a renewed challenge in a space race that they never expected to face, and now the Cold War rivalry takes on a new intensity and grander ambition to reach far further than ever dreamed, and with more diverse resources than ever before. So this stars Joel Kinnaman, who was in Suicide Squad and Altered Carbon, the season 1 of Altered Carbon, if you can think who I mean. And I'm really, really enjoying this show. You know, everything that can and often does go wrong about space travel, and setting out on other bodies like the moon. I think that the alternative history is really well thought out. Through things like Nixon having different terms of offices, Reagan having different terms of offices, stuff like that. There's plenty of space, action, and drama going on there, but it's all realistic. It's not, as my wife would puts it, and her description of Star Trek, which is gallivanting about in space. It's actually really proper edge on your seat sort of stuff. When things go wrong in space and they have to attempt to rescue mission and stuff like that, it takes on a very human view of the astronauts as well. Building them up as they were built up as all-American heroes to, being people who are just as fragile as everybody else, and have their own hang-ups, have their own obsessions, have their own ego trips, and have their own sort of breaking points on stuff as well. It tackles some issues we've seen in other shows do really clumsily. Supergirl, for example. And done in really awkward ways. So, that's sort of like about gender equality and all that sort of stuff. But this does it really intelligently. And in keeping with the eras that it's supposed to be, and how that changes those eras as well. So, because they do about the gender equality program for female astronauts and bringing them online earlier and stuff like that. And it's handled really, really well. And how and how that changes the NASA sort of view. And I'm saying that as somebody who's really pig sick of seeing the bombastic sort of addressing of PC issues. I think, because I think that a lot of them are really clumsy and this is really intelligent. And it's currently 2 seasons on Apple TV Plus. I hope they make a third and keep on going with this, because it is a good drama. There's it shows a very different sort of side to sort of astronauts, the politics around it as well, and that sort of stuff. And it's just generally really quite fascinating.
Yeah. You find what I found just flicking through a bit of Apple TV. Do you find that just the production on these series, whatever it is, they really seem to be ploughing the money in, don't they?
Oh, this is cinematic quality.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
really?
It looks beautiful on virtually everything you watch on Apple TV Plus, I've found.
To give you an idea, Steve, you know how WandaVision looked and how Falcon and Winter Soldier looked.
Yeah,
it's like that quality.
But it really doesn't seem good. It doesn't. I found it's that quality. Doesn't matter whether you're watching a documentary or a new series. It's just everything looks beautiful on it. I think just the actual fidelity of what you're seeing is amazing.
I don't know about you guys, but one of the big things on like Netflix and stuff like that is skip intro.
Yeah.
And even, I know this sounds stupid, but even the titles of that show, even though I might binge watch 3 episodes in a night after the missus has gone to bed, I don't even skip the titles, because I love the intro music. I love the graphics that they've done. It just everything's such high quality.
Yeah.
On it as a production.
I'm just looking at some images in the movie database of some of the episodes.
Yeah.
Just to see what the sort of images are like, because I loved like Apollo 13 is one of my favourite space, sort of realistic, if you want to call them that.
Yeah, Steve, you'll love this. I'm not joking. You will.
Well, I haven't got Apple TV, but there are means and ways. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but it won't be the same with a pirate on the eye. Sorry, a patch on the eye and a parrot on the shoulder. And a wooden leg.
Yeah, well, I don't have a TV, so but I could find it somewhere. So.
Yeah, but
I'm just trying to see actually if on Internet Movie Database, it says there's a third season, but it doesn't seem to say that there's one in
I
the.
think season 2's just been released, so they won't be announcing anything.
No, what I'm saying is, well, actually, season 3 it says episode 3.1 question mark. So that they're well with it. It might be.
I think that there will be. I haven't got to the end yet, but I'm quite sure they'll probably end it on some
It's
sort.
not many episodes, are there? It's only,
No, there's about 20 episodes.
10 on each.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with the moon.
But it's that matter of, would you rather have 20 or 24 sort of like poor quality episodes, or 10 really high super production value quality episodes? And I think that's where America's going now with these shows, because you look at Star Trek, and the production values on Discovery are exceptionally high. And whether or not you like the show or not, you can't say that the special effects, the sets, the uniforms, everything isn't really high quality, because it is. And and that's irrespective of what the you can produce a high quality show and it have lousy scripts or good scripts. It doesn't matter. But I think that's the way that America seems to be going now, in terms of a lot of its TV.
Well, they spend a lot of money. I mean, I don't understand how Netflix can get a 2.5-hour zombie movie from Zack Snyder when it doesn't go into general release in the cinema. Now, maybe that was before COVID anyway.
Maybe they paid for it.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I was just looking at some of that, because that looks pretty cool, actually, that film.
It's worth a lot of money, isn't it, TV?
Yeah.
No.
And you see, it's funny because, like, obviously, I said I want to go and see Spiral. Now, that is not on any streaming service anywhere. You can't find it on any streaming service to watch. You've got to go to the cinema.
Right.
Or wait for the release on Blu-ray.
I wonder how long it'll take before things, there's that, or whether there'll ever be that definition between cinema release and home release again.
Well, I thought that was a thing that was going to start up because of COVID. So we were seeing all these movies you can pay to watch them on Sky or Amazon Prime or something. Or Amazon Prime was saying you can watch the latest Eddie Murphy movie with your subscription. So you know.
And Black Widow's on cinema release and Disney Plus release, isn't it?
Plus premium, they're calling it.
Yeah, plus premium. Yeah, or plus you have to pay for this one.
Yeah,
it's the same with when these horror movies, big movies such as like Mandy, with Nicolas Cage, for example. Well, I think it's a horror movie, but like I subscribe to Shudder, and a lot of stuff goes straight to there before it goes anywhere else, and they
Shudder, that's owned by, is it part of someone else, Amazon or something?
Yeah, it's part of Amazon. Yeah.
And
that's my favourite subscription channel personally.
Yeah.
Right. My missus changed Netflix like no tomorrow, and also other stuff that I get for her. But,
I must admit, other than the morning show, I think it was a morning show it was called.
Yeah.
I've not watched anything on Apple TV Plus until this. And after going back and actually looking and thinking, there's actually quite a lot on here now. The last time I looked, was like half a dozen shows.
Wasn't there a lot of ITV stuff on there, was there?
No, it's all original.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It's all Apple original.
Same way that Netflix and Amazon. I mean, Amazon got a few TV shows of their own, haven't they, as well?
Yeah. Have you seen For All Mankind, Marc?
No.
Or is your family?
I don't think so.
Right.
Don't think so.
Well, recommendation for them to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
But even the sets on everything, the spacecraft, which are all themed around that Apollo sort of stuff, and you see the Pathfinder, which is the next generation space shuttle in season 2 as well, which looks like a natural sort of evolution of the space shuttle.
So you can do a free 7-day trial. So if you wanted to cater show 20 episodes, if you want to try and do it in a week, you can get a free 7-day trial.
Watch 3 shows in a week.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 3 shows a day for a week.
How long are they? 20 minutes? Hour?
No, they're an hour.
Yeah.
So
I'm just looking at what's on there. So
Apple TV Plus, is that $5 a month?
So yes, that's got ITV next to it as well. So are the ITV a part of this with them? Because that's what I thought it was.
No,
sorry, not ITV. Sorry, it's the way I'm looking at it. Sorry, I forgot I said that.
No, it's I think it's for they'll stream other services through it as well, like ITV, like BBC and stuff
They all
like
do,
that.
Yeah.
don't they, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's Apple TV, which is a kind of umbrella over all of the on-demand services, and on the app on the phone or whatever.
The thing is, how many can you? I mean,
And
we
then
have
there's
all these.
TV Plus, Apple TV Plus, which is the subscription service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now when the only thing that I'm paying for Sky every month, but we hardly watch anything at the moment. We're binge watching Netflix when I'm with my wife. Most of the stuff she watches is either sort of like ITV, or she's on she is on a Sky channel, to be fair. It's like that Say Yes to the Dress and My £600 Life sort of stuff.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I'm not watching Sky because there's nothing on it.
Well, a lot of the TV shows you normally be watching on Sky aren't being made at the moment.
Yeah.
Or they're late coming in.
I don't think I watch hardly any original Sky channels on Sky.
Well, we watch. It's normally like for the certain comedy shows that's on Sky One, really.
Right.
So obviously, when Modern Family was doing the rounds for 10 years, that was one, for example, and obviously a lot of the CW shows as well. There's a new show on Apple TV Plus based on a Stephen King novel coming out on the 4th of June with Julianne Moore called Lily's Story.
They do have some quite big names on there.
Well, they have the new Tom Holland movie on, don't they? Is it Cherry or whatever it is? You can watch that one.
Tom Hanks' movie is one of his. Greyhound, is it called? I think is on.
Yeah, and he was evidently vehemently opposed to that going on Apple.
Yeah.
So you got your Netflix, Haydn, through Sky?
No.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
I've just gone over to it myself.
We did it a while back. You get it cheaper, and you still get the 80 4K and what have you.
Yeah, and you still can watch it on your app as well. You don't have to go to Sky to watch it.
Yeah, you watch it however you watch it.
Because I like to use Dolby Vision in some of those shows. That's via the TV.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Not through Xbox though, because that's a bit of a bummer. But there you go. It's a long story.
Anyway, so it was just for all Mankind I wanted to talk about this week. So unless anyone's got anything else to add.
No, I do actually want to watch Those Who Wish Me Dead. Actually, at some point, I was going to see that. It's a new movie with Angelina Jolie She works in a tower in the forest where the fire.
Yeah, I've seen a few screenshots and things of that. Actually,
it's pretty good actually. Something that's going to knock your brain out, but just for fun. That should be quite good.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot to mention it in the intro. And seeing as that we were planning on doing something movie related, probably a good idea to raise it now. Just some news about Alan, our other host. Unfortunately, Alan's had an accident. It's been put back a little bit in terms of his getting better from while he's been off, and has had some injuries as a result. So unfortunately, it looks like, at least for the time being, Alan won't be returning, if at all, to be fair. And we just hope that he's well. Keep yourself well, Alan. Yeah, and we'll
speedy recovery, mate.
Yeah, speedy recovery. I know that some people might have been looking forward to the show that Alan and I were talking about doing as well. We'll just have to see how that goes at the moment. But obviously, at the moment, Alan won't be involved with it if we do that show. We'll just have to wait and see. Got some things to consider over the next few weeks about that. But the main thing is that Alan is, hopefully will be better soon. So good luck, mate.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Okay. Right, let's move on then to our listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
All right, so listener questions. And Marc's not having his John Malkovich moment today.
I didn't. Sorry, guys.
So we'll let you go straight off with Richard Mortlock's.
Sure. So Richard Mortlock asks, what would you say is the best Assassin's Creed game to play if you have never really played one before? Haydn.
2.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay.
The XO, part of the XO collection.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Assassin's Creed 2 is the best one. That is probably one of the better stories, or one of the better characters, I should say.
Did you meet some interesting other characters in that without spoiling it? If you don't
Yeah,
know,
you do.
no,
You do. But you also do in Brotherhood as well, but that wasn't as widely well received.
No.
Brotherhood is good. The first Assassin's Creed is showing its age now, but and it has a character that you only play in that one game, but it is a good story. But if you're not bothered about the game being too retro, you're then there. And then I would say that the next best game to play would be Odyssey. And then after that, probably Origins, which has the Egyptian guy with the North Yorkshire term of Bayek. And then,
I quite enjoyed Syndicate.
I was going to say probably Syndicate or Black Flag next.
Yeah, if you fancy a jolly round London town, then definitely Syndicate.
Yeah, or if you want to be a pirate, then Black Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys think any different?
No, I mean, I played...
I was going to say that anyway, before you said it, that was in my head, so...
What, Syndicate?
No, number 2.
Yeah, okay. Sorted then. That's the order you want to do them in. Do 3 last. It's not the best one. Neil McBain, Steve, do you want to do Neil's?
Yeah, so he's asking us what's your favourite soft drink?
Diet Coke.
I don't know, I could be really boring, and I think the soft drink I drink the most is just water, especially at work, where you're in a hot environment. And you know, it's important to not dehydrate.
Hydrate yourself.
Yeah.
As much as I've got a glass of wine, I've got a pint of water next to me. So.
Yeah, I've got a bottle of water with me now. But the one I suppose you drink that for reasons other than enjoyment, I suppose. The one I enjoy the most is probably coffee, soft drink. Coffee, I think, for me.
Any particular flavour of coffee or just a standard?
Well, I have an espresso machine at home. At work, obviously, we have coffee from a proper coffee machine, but like an espresso.
Have you seen the beanie coffee?
The what coffee?
Beanie coffee.
No, I don't think so.
They do little jars of coffee, but they do different flavours.
Right.
So they do Irish coffee, I think.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And they got one which is like, I don't know, gingerbread as well and all sorts.
Yeah. But the Nespresso machine's good because, I mean, I've had one for quite a long time now, and I've moved from the original type to the Virtuo type, which is slightly better because you can get different size pods for different size cups. But they do like a vanilla and a hazelnut, and they're really nice. That's what I tend to drink at home. And at work, I just have a normal, whatever I like, really.
Yeah.
Americano or latte or flat white, whatever. But yeah,
I do like gin and tonic. I like tonic, but then again, I like to put gin in there. But I do like a tonic on its own sometimes.
Yeah, quite nice.
That's quite refreshing.
Okay. Alan Cochran has asked, I own a Series X, which I love, but do you think this generation of gaming has nothing original to play?
All right, I'll go. I've just been looking at the store a little while ago, and my first thought to that question was, I don't think it's particular to this generation.
No.
I don't, and I think even if there's new IPs, like one of the ones that's just come out is Rust. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not particularly original. I think it's very difficult to have something original now, unless you start going into kind of the indie game.
So you don't put it onto
genre.
one platform now. It's all the same as all the others, though, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like music, isn't it? It's like music. It's like movies. It's very difficult to create something original now, I think.
I've seen so many remakes or...
Yeah.
I think we could sort of like argue what original we mean by original, because obviously there is the thing of original, something that we've never had before. Or is it just original as in something that is unique to this new generation of consoles.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. So it could be like, Mass Effect Andromeda 2 or something like that, because that wouldn't be original, that would be a follow-up. But if it was only available on this gen even, and I think in terms of both, the answer is we don't have anything. But no. I think it's entirely natural for a new gen not to have much original content, because I remember just before I started podcasting, Steve banging on about there's nothing on this platform to play, and then he discovered Destiny, and now he just bangs on about Destiny.
Hang on, you were like that for many years.
Yeah, I know. I mean it complimentary, Steve. I mean it in a complimentary way. But but I'm only teasing you. You know that. But seriously, you remember those days? When it was you had, what was it? Titanfall was the only new thing.
That was a great game until that didn't went a bit pear-shaped for me. I weren't really keen.
Well, Titanfall, I don't think was the success that they were hoping it was going to be as a developers, was it?
I think
that was because they didn't do a story on it.
No. Yeah. But the online was fun, I must admit. We did play a hell of a lot of that in the first game.
Oh, we had a few community games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Steve, even you would agree that Destiny's not particularly original, is it? Yeah.
It's a space shooter. Okay. Maybe it's a bit different from every other game being a war game of some sorts.
A lot of what it does, Halo had done beforehand, because it's Bungie.
Yeah, but not probably as good as though. Even though
maybe not.
The shooting mechanics and everything else, I think, are second to none with this game. I still think if you were to play this and not ever played it before, you'd pick it up and you would get on so well with it. Where if you tried to play Gears and then stumble through their mechanics.
Well, Gears is a very old mechanic now anyway.
It is, and they're still using it, aren't they?
Yeah. But that makes me, you saying that makes me think of something we've all played quite recently and is a new IP, and that's Outriders. And
couldn't stand it. I didn't get very...
You and I, Haydn, we saw a similarity to Gears with that game. And I'm wondering whether, is it that it isn't original, or is it that we're comfortable thinking in our brain, even sort of subconsciously, we need to sort of make an association with something we've played before in order for us to kind of try and get into it? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, yeah, I know what you mean, because I remember being involved in the discussions on a previous podcast where we talked about this sort of stuff. And, it was like, oh, I want all the new content, or, well, I'm quite happy to have a remaster, or I'm quite happy to have a sequel. We all had different sort of points of view on it. And as long as there's something there for you, it doesn't really matter. The problem at the moment is, and I think the issue about this, and I think it's because of COVID has also helped on this, is the fact that there are very few sort of this gen only titles.
Yeah, well, look at Anthem,
and a lot further back than before.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, Anthem was awful. I thought. Some people loved it. I didn't go with it.
I hardly gave it any time.
No.
I gave it a good bit of time, and it had the potential. I just think it was the environment that didn't feel quite right.
Mm. But then after another original game came out, which blew everyone away. Not me personally, was Fallout. Was Fortnite, and that sort of stuck with a lot of people, didn't it?
Well, it still does. I mean, it's still tremendously popular. And you look at that's actually influenced Destiny, because they started with the seasons and everybody else has copied them.
Yeah, from the point of what you get in the season, it goes up from 1 to 100. Now, that's how I've never played Fortnite, never will, but something very similar to that, apparently. So.
Were there no games had seasons before Fortnite?
I don't think so. That I can think of.
Well, actually, we would say that Destiny had content, but they went into the season mode after a while.
Yeah, and that was well after.
I think it was roughly the same sort of time. Whether they piggybacked off their idea, I don't know, but it was Probably Crimson Tide.
I think it's I'm not sure. Was it PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds that went seasons first? It was one of the two, and the other one copied it.
Mm.
And then it sort of like proliferated to other sort of things. So, it's like even now, you're getting like Marvel Avengers sort of going sort of seasonal and stuff like that. Whereas before you used to buy on Destiny, you used to buy DLC. So it would be like the you'd had the Moon Raid, wouldn't you, on Destiny?
You'd have the DLC for the year, which I still always buy.
But
they broke that down. They broke that down into 4 seasons, maybe. But
the seasons were sort of different back then. And I think that you got more for your money when it was the way it was than what you do now sometimes. And I think a lot of it is repeating the same sort of stuff. So this is what made me fall out of love with Destiny, because I was playing it all the time. At one point, I was playing it more than you were because you'd got disillusioned with it. And that was like during that
one season
Season of the Light, that one. Or whatever it was called. I was really well into that, and that was all Vex, and you were like, I hate this season. And I was on about it's absolutely brilliant.
But this season, I think last season as well, I've just really enjoyed.
You've liked the last few seasons. I've not really rated them. I've sort of like played them before. It's the same old stuff. And that's what's drawing me away from it now, because they're not coming up with enough brand new content.
I mean, there's some of the game modes, like in this one at the moment, where you go through waves of enemies where you're collecting orbs to fill up this meter, and eventually open up a time warp where you go through a hole in the floor and brings you out, and it looks like something out of Tron. And you're out there getting killing the main enemies and the big boss as well. And if you farm for the keys, and you've got the keys as well, you get 2 chests to open with more gear and loot and so on and so forth. But I mean, we always crave for more. We always crave for something different.
I mean, going back to Outriders, and we kind of likened it to a cross between Destiny and Gears. I think part of my issue with that game was even the universe it was in didn't really seem very original.
It was derivative. It was
very generic kind of bombed
out.
out.
Mishmash, was it?
A lot of that universe felt like Anthem in terms of the map, the way it was.
But from what Alan Cochrane is saying, that's not a good example. That's an example of what he's talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's also, it makes it feel worse because we're at that point which we were at the beginning of the last season, where stuff is being released on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
So you've got that whole thing of a lot of people are going mad about getting a new console, and I'm sure that you've got a view on this one, Marc, because of your new experience. But don't be in a massive rush to get one, and certainly don't pay over RRP, because it's not worth it. You can play everything on your older console, especially if you've got a Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro. There is exceptionally little advantage to going up to the next level.
Until they start. I mean, I bought it really completely for the potential. I obviously I follow releases and industries and the gaming anyway, but I knew that I'd be playing the same games, just maybe at a better frame rate or slightly enhanced graphics. But it is just for what's ahead, really. That's why if you're going to buy one now, get it for what's to come. And it's like you were talking about earlier, Haydn, when we start to get more games that are exclusive to the new generation, that's when things will improve, I think. I think it'll be probably towards the end of the year, holiday season maybe.
That's when I'm expecting it to sort of.
Hopefully, if we get some out of COVID now, I mean,
hopefully
it's all going to go to plan. I mean, we might have a few knocks still. I'm afraid it's not over yet by far, but I think things will. Well,
I was going to say it depends upon on this Indian variant.
Exactly,
and
that's
stuff like
exactly what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
They're saying the vaccines are effective, aren't they, against it? So that's good.
So, but yeah, you're gonna have to wait and see what. I mean, there are things going on in the background that people have been working from home because they got a PC, so they can still do that. But they can go in the office, bring it all together, put it into a package to what they need to do to get it out on the disc or in the stores for digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say to anyone who's considering getting a Series X or a PS5 now, I'd still do it. And I've just done it, but I think they're still worth buying now. It's rather than waiting.
There are advantages, but what I'm thinking is in terms of you waited until you could get it at the RRP price. You didn't pay £650 for it.
No.
It's like anybody who is looking at, like in CEX, I think that they're selling it for £750 at the moment, or
crazy.
Or any of the other scalpers. Don't do it.
No.
And especially a lot of people who might be looking at it might have been on furlough. They might not have a lot of money. They might be thinking, I'll get, put it on a credit card or something like that. Seriously, if you've already got one of the previous gen consoles, save your money up so that you can pay cash for it and not get into debt for it, because they're not worth it that much right now.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up, I don't mind saying, but I ended up paying $480 for mine. But I did get 3 months Ultimate Game Pass for that.
Well, that's about what you would pay for that anyway, then, isn't it?
Yeah. So it wasn't really over the odds anyway. It was about right. So I had no trouble with that. But yeah.
Okay. Steve, do you want to do Scott?
Okay. So with Burning Crusade Classic going live on Tuesday, now this is something I haven't got a clue about. I'll have to do with Warcraft, okay. So I'll start again. So with the Burning Crusade Classic going live on Tuesday, give me the World of Warcraft play like a new again, and what game would you like to replay as it was new again? So if you were to play a game you'd never played and you're going to play it new, get that experience again, what would you like to play? I can think of a few.
Do you want to say what ones you're thinking of, Steve?
Well, if you'd never played BioShock, for example, when it came out, that sort of experience now. I know we're gonna. It's been upgraded anyway, so you've probably got a little bit better graphics. That is a great start, or even a Resident Evil game. If you've never played some of those, there would be a good experience to have. And I'd say a friend of mine, I've hasn't played it. So the guy who just bought me Xbox, which I said, look, go. He said, "Watch. I want to play a Resident Evil game." So we'll go and play the latest one that came out a year ago. And he said, "I'm loving it. Absolutely fantastic game." And that's what you're getting. You're getting those experiences that, we take for granted because we're taking them as they come.
Yeah.
There's some games I've still not played. I don't know anyone else that you think I've not gone to yet or been down the route of, but I may pick something up and think, you know what? Wow, I wish I'd played that again when it came out.
Well, I think in terms of for how long you and I've been doing this, Steve, there are games that you end up starting to play that you maybe skip quicker than you would have done if you'd have, bought them and not been doing this.
Yeah.
As in podcasting, because, just try to keep your information up to date.
Yeah. Because that's what we do, isn't it?
And, there's a lot of games I've left that I've not gone back to that I really wish I had.
Some of the indie games, like, not like Little Nightmares, but a couple of the ones earlier.
Inside.
Yeah.
Limbo.
Exactly, those sort of games. Fantastic little games to play.
Yeah, well, Little Nightmares as well, 1 and 2, they're both really good. So, I don't know in terms of what I would like to, I think that there'll be a lot of people who were not old enough to play and have not picked it up until now, which is the Mass Effect, so they've been handed that.
Classic example, actually,
yeah. And imagine starting to play that game from scratch, but with 4K graphics.
Yeah.
Okay, Mass Effect 1's a little bit dated in its handling of stuff, but it's still a fantastic story, and that's what drives you through that. So
the obvious one for me would be Skyrim. I mean, to play that for the first time, having never played it before, would be phenomenal again. But one not so obvious that I really enjoyed from a story point of view was, do you remember the original reboot of Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
The first one of the trilogy, and I think that, that was a really good story. I don't know whether it was because it was a reboot and it was new, but I really enjoyed that. And to play that again for the first time would be pretty good.
That sort of game you didn't want to end. It was such a good game.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, really. And I think that was, I don't know whether that one was it Rhiannon Pratchett that wrote? She got involved in the Tomb Raider story writing, but I don't know whether she wrote that one. You wrote Terry Pratchett's daughter.
Not really sure.
But yeah, those two would be the big ones for me, I think.
And you say they're coming out again, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. What about KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, I mean, if that had a spruce up, I mean, I don't think playing it now as it is, I think it wouldn't be great because of the way games have moved on.
I didn't play a huge amount of the original either. I did play it a bit, but not a lot. I think that's the sort of game I think I probably appreciate more now than I did at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, should we?
So many.
Shall I do Jason Toon?
Yep.
Okay, with the recent announcement of Henry Cavill starring in the reboot of The Highlander, are there any other dormant franchises you'd like to have revived? Good question.
Steve?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
Not because I of any other reason, but other franchises I would love to see what they would do with them nowadays. I'm going to say 2 Jerry Anderson series, which would be UFO and Space 1999.
Yeah, I mean, they did do this animated version of Thunderbird and Captain Scarlet, but I wasn't keen on that first.
I'm on about live action. I'm not talking about animated.
I'm just saying Jerry Anderson, as in the whole.
I used to quite enjoy when I was sort of teenager, and they used to repeat it in the middle of kind of Saturday night, Sunday morning. Do you remember the Time Tunnel?
Oh God, yeah.
Interesting.
I have that. I have that collection at home.
And that kind of sort of in that sort of ilk, I guess.
Land of the Giants.
Yeah, Land of the Giants as well. Yeah, it was on like middle of the night when I was staying up all night, and but yeah, that was quite fun times.
Because I mean, UFO, and I mean, they did a Thunderbirds movie, and obviously Jonathan Frakes directed it, but that was dreadful.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about something that sort of encapsulates the atmosphere, but is like a proper grown-up movie. Thunderbirds was a kids' movie.
Yeah, and it probably only would be a kids' movie, though, unfortunately. But even though us adults appreciate it with the original program that it was.
But I think when you look at UFO and you look at Space 1999, that wasn't aimed at kids.
Oh, well, no.
Not in the same way as Thunderbirds. No. And Thunderbirds, because it was puppets and that, probably had that heritage and view. Whereas I think if you looked at UFO and you looked at Space 1999, both of those were very more grown up in their approach from Jerry Anderson. And I just think that they would translate probably quite well. Maybe not Space 1999 as much if they had the moon blasted away from Earth and going through the cosmos, because everybody would be saying, well, it wouldn't actually be possible for it to be taken 50,000 years to get to the nearest star and stuff like that, because we know a lot more about science nowadays. So we know it's not scientifically accurate.
You could forgive that, though.
But, well, if you could maybe do something Space 1999 or 2999, it'd probably be better to do it now, about, an actual moon base and man's first, Pathfinder flight to, the nearest next, solar mass, which, was part of what was in Space 1999 as well, to be fair. They had that story of, was it Pathfinder that they called it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Something like that. But, they had that in there. So you could have that sort of story, and it could be about, the struggles of living on the moon.
Wasn't that sounds similar to the TV show you were watching last week?
I suppose so.
Or the week before?
That I'm doing this week, For All Mankind.
No. I thought was it last week or the week before you spoke about a show where that man had already colonised another planet because Earth had gone.
I can't remember what it was I was talking about. I was talking about The Expanse as a TV show, and that would be kind of like an idea behind that.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Going with his kind of Highlander example, one thing I think you could do, if it was well thought out and a bit more considered than the originals, if they brought updated RoboCop, that could be quite good.
Well, they did an updated movie version, which was dreadful.
Yeah, it was. But, you make it a series with kind of good production and what have you. That would be interesting, perhaps. Not cheesy, but just a bit more realistic, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, have a new Ed 209. I think as well, one that is actually still ongoing, but I think that they need to get grips with the Terminator franchise.
Either do that or give it a rest.
Well, yeah.
And they are going to be doing another reboot of Battlestar Galactica, which I think would be good. I know. How about Buck Rogers? Let's get him back.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I know they were supposed to be remaking Logan's Run at some point as well.
Yeah, and Flash Gordon as well.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be difficult in many ways, I think.
I'm not on about having the same actor.
No, not from that point of view. No, I'm just the way it went,
Well, they did do a TV series on Sci-Fi Channel, which I think lasted one season, or maybe two. But it wasn't a very good take on it, and I don't think they had a lot of the main characters in there. Or there were weird versions of them, but I think there's lots of scope for some dormant franchises to be brought back. I mean, we've got Dune coming back as well.
As a series or as a movie?
Movie.
Yeah, it's been done by...
So is that a remake or new?
Remake.
By Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049.
That could be interesting. I like the original. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think that the new guy's this as good as Carl McLachlan was.
No. He's good, though, Carl McLachlan. I thought in that he was great.
Yeah. It was perfect for him.
Yeah.
Mind you, I think Sting was perfect in that movie as well.
I was just about to say a similar thing, yeah.
As Fade Rautha.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we do Lee's? So Lee's asking, what are your early E3 predictions, game announcements, releases, dates, etc.?
Well, we had one in the news earlier, didn't we, with Starfield?
Yes.
Do you think they'll trail Elder Scrolls 6? Nah, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
It'll take the edge off Starfield, which they probably will.
Well,
so
I'd love to see. I always like to think there'd be a Fallout 5 at some point.
They're not going to do that before the next Elder Scrolls, are they?
Probably not, unless they had a small team working on something they could do. I mean, there were rumours about it, but if anything, I always look forward to the Bethesda showcase anyway. Always do.
Yeah, me too.
That is a highlight for me. I mean, as much as I look forward to even more Xboxes, but I just love the Bethesda show. There's always something interesting that's going to come out of that.
Bungie announcing Destiny 3, Steve?
No, I think no, because we have got another 2-year roadmap at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's too much of a moneymaker for them.
They've got this
complete cash cow.
Yeah.
Well, if it works, don't break it. Maybe tweak it when you different game modes and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I reckon we'll hear about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 coming in 2014. Sorry, 2024 rather.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 5. Excuse me.
Yeah. I reckon that'll be one of the ones that we'll hear about. I have no idea why I pulled that out of the hat, but that's just sort of...
Well, that's it is.
That's a guess.
But it
I've
is
not heard anything.
No, but it is actually been mentioned quite a bit lately. So
they've been saying it's going to be sooner rather than later because that was sort of like when they split it up the way they did. I was sort of like thinking, will I ever actually, considering how long it took them to develop it, will I still be alive when they're releasing the final part of it?
Do you think there'll be a new Assassin's Creed?
No.
Yes.
You do? What, same setting or new?
New.
You think won't be Longships and Vikings and Valhalla anymore?
No, I'm hoping that they're actually going to look and go, that Ghost of Tsushima was quite good. We could do that. and finally give us the samurai or ninja version of Assassin's Creed. Actually, ninja would probably fit better with
We've been
Assassin's
crying
Creed.
that for about 3 years now, haven't we?
Yeah. I've been crying that for since about the last decade. I think it'll be. I think we might hear an announcement of that. That would be quite good. Something in Japan, that would be good.
I'd like to see maybe a new Ghost Recon, but I don't think Breakpoint's old enough yet. There'll be a new Far Cry maybe from Ubisoft.
There is one. There's one that's already been penciled in anyway, isn't there?
I think there'll
Far
be.
Cry, what are we on, 6 or something?
We had the trailer for it, didn't we, last year?
Yeah.
Right.
Just Cause 5.
Maybe. Are they selling well enough now?
Well, I would have said so. James Bond.
Ooh.
That's in the
By Square Enix.
That's in
Not
the
by Enix, by
you might get a teaser
IO.
trailer about it. They've been making it for a while now. They've actually mentioned it already.
Thief, do you say?
No, but the Bond one they've been making for a while now.
Yeah, IOI, isn't it? Same people who made Hitman. We bet they'll be using the same engine as well, and they'll approach it in a similar sort of way.
So, yeah.
I had another one as well that I thought of, and it's completely gone out of my head. Not Assassin's Creed.
I still want Sam Fisher, but I'm never going to get that anymore.
What are you going to get from EA, do you think, apart from the sports franchises? Are they doing a presentation?
They normally do. They do their EA Play, don't they? Or something they call it.
Yeah.
But you're only going to be looking at the latest iteration of FIFA and Madden, possibly, I don't know, maybe something else.
I've got a list here of the EA E3 2021 attendees, and EA is not on there.
Well, maybe they're going to be on their own show, digital show.
Yeah, maybe it's not officially linked.
I think what we might hear about is an LA Noire remake.
Sequel?
Because it's 10 years since then.
I'm still crying out for Sam Fisher.
They remastered it, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I got a copy of it.
Yeah.
I think that they'll do one for this gen, or update that one for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Oh, Diablo.
Well, we've been asking for that for another again.
Diablo 4.
Not happening. Still not happening.
I think it'll be Diablo 2 and 4 2 remake.
Well, that's
to put us on until 4. I think we'll hear announcements of.
There wasn't there a Diablo announcement recently for that?
Might be, but this is about predictions about what we'll see there. So I'm thinking that they'll take that, show the remake, and then say, Diablo 4 will be coming in 24.
What
about Fable 4, Steve?
Yeah, well, I think that's still way off. They teased it as a trailer. I just think that's going to be a couple of years away yet.
Show more, surely, maybe. Well.
And how about Doom Infinite? I'm only making up the name, by the way. But I was just thinking, because I've had
Halo's
Eternal,
already
haven't they?
got
So,
Infinite.
yeah, but we could have Doom Infinite as well and do a crossover.
Game Infinite.
Well, I'm looking at something here saying that Bethesda and Microsoft are going to be holding a joint conference this year.
Yeah, that's right, because they're owned now.
Yeah.
I think that Bethesda will be incorporated into the Microsoft. And there won't be, I don't think there'll be restrictions on time or anything, will there? Because it's just streaming or online. I assume you'd just be able to watch it at your leisure.
Yeah, I'd still like to see them do a separate show, though. They normally have sort of it kicks off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so a few predictions there anyway.
Yeah.
Steve, do you want to do Paul?
Oh, sorry, I was on the wrong page. I'm looking at something else. So, due to technical issues, what would ruin your weekend the most? Total no internet, or totally no gaming, or your car breaking down?
Your car breaking down.
Well, to be honest, I mean, if the internet did go down, I can catch up on a few movies I've got that I've not watched yet. Plenty of things to do.
It depends for me, because if it was on a personal level, probably no gaming. But what would probably give me the most grief from the rest of my household is no internet.
It would be. I mean, it's funny. I mean, my missus is on her phone playing a game on there, or she's on Netflix, or if all that's down.
Yeah, you're done, aren't you? YouTube.
You've got to keep your wife occupied. That's the
wife,
important
kids,
thing.
everything. Yeah.
No, I for me, the one that would get to me the most would be the car breaking down, because it's then is, if it's the weekend, you can't get anyone to fix it, and then it's like, how much is it going to cost? And you start looking it up and frightening yourself on about how much it's going to cost.
Mine's with the AA, excuse me. Mine's with the AA and with work, so that would they would just come and fix it there and then.
Yeah. Also, I'd just walk somewhere. I mean, I don't live particularly close to anything major in terms of food shopping or anything like that, but near enough to something.
Okay, last question. Who's doing that one?
Shall I do Justin Lee then?
Yeah,
last question.
Yeah.
While cross-platform play is starting to become more common, do you think we will ever get full cross-progression for games progress and saves to transfer between different platforms? There seems to be only a limited number of games which support this at the moment. Those games that support it now, are they mainly online games?
They're like Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And Destiny 2.
Where your progress is saved online anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but even then, your character only if you set it up that way, you can have it. But excuse me, if you've got Destiny on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, then you can have up to 9 characters. But if you want your progression to go between consoles, then you have to select 3 of those 9 characters, and they all have to be on one platform. So let's say that if I had my Hunter was best on my PC, my Warlock was best on my Xbox, and my cutlery cleaner Titan with his tea cloth on his belt was best on PlayStation, then I couldn't choose those 3. I'd have to say, well, I'll go with whichever my best one is, and I'll drag the other 2 with it as well.
Right.
Which is a bit stupid, really, but it's just the way it is. But I could use I use my Xbox characters on my PC and my PlayStation when I play it.
But until you get other platform companies actually wanting to join in with this, it ain't happening too much, is it?
No, Sony are the stubborn ones at the moment, aren't they? In the main, which is, I don't know what their beef is about it really. But
one interesting thing I did find out about Sony recently, not in relation to this, but obviously a lot of games that you buy on the indie sort of side of things on Sony are in bundles. So it might be PlayStation 4 and Vita, or it might be PS4 and PS5. So double trophies.
Nice.
That,
I think, looking at his question, I think we will get an easier way of having cross-platform progression.
Rocket League
in the future.
Rocket League's quite popular for that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can understand for games like Rocket League, but let's say, for example, I've got Mass Effect Legendary Edition on PC and PS5. Would you want, if you bought it like I've done on 2 platforms, would you actually want the ability to swap your progression between the 2, or do you do it that way because you want to be able to progress maybe in 2 different directions in that game?
It would be nice to have the choice, no?
I know what you're saying, yeah.
But at the moment, I haven't tried it, but at the moment, I assume there is no choice.
There isn't.
Just your save is just on one platform.
Yes.
But if you wanted to play on your PS5 at home and then continue on your PC at work or somewhere else, that in your lunch break, that would be all right, wouldn't it? That'd be quite nice.
I suppose, yeah. But where you do have that sort of like cross-platform on to a limited extent on PS4 and 5, don't you? Because it's a PS4 game.
Yeah.
With enhancements, you could import your PS5 save onto the 4, I think. I've not tried it, I'm assuming you can.
It would be nice. I don't think you can, but say with something that's more my kind of genre and my character player in MLB The Show, it would be nice if I could go round to a mate's house who's got it on a PS5 and import my player into his game on the PS5, even though I'm playing on an Xbox. You know, that would be a nice thing to be able to do. I mean, it doesn't. I used MLB, but it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be FIFA or even characters within games.
Yeah, very true.
I think but it is a way off yet, I think.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, and as you said, I think it's probably Sony who are the sticky wicket on this.
They are indeed.
But I would like to be able to see that, as you said, Mark, the option of being able to import or just have it separate.
Yeah, but it would be nice for that to not also be like a one-way street. You know, if you could have your PC save with its own character, or you could continue your PS5 character on your PC. You could do either. You know, that would just be an ideal world, wouldn't it? If you wanted to play something from another machine, you could, or just carry on with your separate save. I don't think it's going to happen this generation.
No, probably not.
Realistically.
No. Okay. Right. Well, that's it then for another week. Not bad. No. So, Steve, do you want to do your contact details?
Yep. So, Xbox gamertag is is Steve07. PlayStation is the real Steve07. My YouTube channel is, I think, Steve07 for movies, gaming, say Bible and stuff like that. Music. Instagram is Steve0764.
Mark?
Okay, so Twitter, I am Ace Plantman. On Xbox, I'm Kitchen Smith. Instagram, I'm also Kitchen Smith, but with an underscore either end. And my email is Marc, spelled MARC, at kitchensmith.co.uk.
Yeah, and I better just say my Twitter at Steve07 as well. So
yeah. Okay, so for me, it's HRJUK on everything: PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Twitter, you name it. The only difference is on Epic Game Launch, it's Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget, you can also follow the show on Twitter at Pop Culture Gamer. We have our Facebook group, we have our Facebook page, which you can join both of those. You can email inquiries at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. And don't forget to visit our website, which is anchor.fm/popculturegamers. And also come like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Pop Culture Gamers as well. Other than that, it's another show for wrap. We'll probably be a little bit later this time next week, because it won't be this time next week, it'll be the day after that we'll be recording, hopefully. But other than that, it's a good night from me,
a good night from him,
and a good night from them.
Good night.
Good night.